You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Well, that was a good secret. Nice job. Why can't anybody keep a secret? October 19th. Takes me a little bit. 19.10.2025. Come on, Europe. Can we just go October 19th? I guess we can. Rams and Jaguars, Wembley Stadium. And that's the news out this morning. Only one time it's going to feel like, hey, why are we only over there for a couple of days when we go this time around? But that is the story of the morning, and it's not really much of a secret that the Jacksonville Jaguars will play the Rams. I feel like we've kind of talked about this. Is one of those deals where it's like you come into a show and you're like, let's talk. We got some new news. It's like, man, it's not really new news. And so this will be like a 2-minute topic. Here's the 2-minute topic on the Jags. Although it is kind of fat. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and a little bit fascinating. Wow, what the hell's up with my sync here, Hamby? We're way off? Or are we right on? Okay, it looks maybe it's just my monitor.
Yeah, we're good.
Is that goofy?
No, you're right on there.
Oh, all right. This monitor's been a little crazy the last couple of days. You weren't here.
Oh,
The last what day is today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Well, last couple of days, just yesterday. But this thing had like a giant black box over it yesterday.
Good.
Plus, there was audio playing out of the computer. Like we had never experienced it before. So now I feel like I'm telling you, the sync's off on this. The sync's not off on yours?
No.
Come on, Daniel, let me know. Is the sync off on your from my talking? I could hide behind the microphone, then you wouldn't be able to tell. But interesting. Anyway,
Mine looks all right.
It does, yeah. Yours looks okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you look just okay. You look stressed out, wedding week, all that stuff.
I'm good, man. I do have so much to do, but I'm good.
Yeah, busy, huh?
Yeah.
You got the honey-do list is started.
I was listening when you were like, because Nick was talking about, I think, on Friday, all he had to do.
Nick's gone.
I know. It hurts. But you were talking about, Hamby's just now locking in. You can't lock in 8 months. And I was like, boy, is that right?
It's true, isn't it?
I got a million things to do.
Yeah, now you got everybody's. What do they do? Give me an idea. What do they got you doing?
Well, I'm moving on top of everything.
Well, that's your own damn fault.
Well, okay.
Should have moved 3 weeks ago.
I couldn't. Wow, we're gonna play for an empty place for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
That's not smart.
Well, I mean, hey, I'll give you a secret, and Steph's probably not listening to this, although she seemingly has caught some of the wedding talk as of late. So maybe she's checking in. She must be bored. But we have moved. So when we moved to Louisiana, why wasn't I there? Oh, I don't know why, but I've never moved this. I've never moved.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, I don't know. I forget the Louisiana one. Why wouldn't I have moved? I mean, I'm probably moved some, but I feel like maybe I had to go right to work that day because we were kind of jammed up between. We got married July 31st, so then we went to honeymoon. So when we got to Louisiana, it was football season.
Oh yeah,
right. So it's like high school football season and all that. So I might have been mostly working already. Right when we got there, maybe I did a couple of things, but I didn't really move us out. Our jam-packed cars had a couple of them. I didn't really do anything. Then we moved from Louisiana to Providence. Same deal. I didn't really do much. Then we moved to Albany, New York. It's just like a running joke. I either just go work right away or I don't do anything. Then I got down here, and that was the only time I think we've really used a moving company when I came down here. And so, I came down a month before the family came down.
Oh, okay.
And so I got out of that one too. I get out of all the moving. It's so bad. And you're not getting out of the moving.
No.
So anyway,
you
that's a life hack right there. I got out of moving.
Well, yeah, just work a lot. You have to break in your wedding shoes?
What do you mean? What,
I
you
was
have
told that
black, what kind of shoes?
Oh,
you
they're
have?
brown shoes, but they're supposed to, we bought them new. And
what do you mean break in?
Well, it's just hey, you don't know. It's just you don't want the very first time you're putting your foot in it to be on the wedding day.
I get that. Careful the bottom of it now, depending on your buddies. Never know. They might put help on one shoe and me on the other.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. What are you talking?
Check the bottom of your shoes.
Okay. All right.
Well, it depends what kind of service you're at. Is there any kneeling that goes on?
No.
Oh, there isn't?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe that's just like a Catholic one then.
Yeah.
Because like you kneel, and so there are great stories of people writing on the bottom of the groomsmen writing on the bottom of the shoes. So when they kneel down, which is kind of fun. Yeah, it's kind of funny. But I didn't know you got to break in those shoes. You better do it.
Yeah, I did last night.
So what else? Okay, sorry, I interrupted you and told me a story instead of you. What? So you're moving?
Yeah.
What else you got? Like, what are you doing for the wedding? Like, what are they asking you to do other than stay out of the way?
Well, that's part of it. But like, the rehearsal dinner the night before is kind of my domain. So
I got
you. Everything from a slideshow to music, and we finalized the wedding playlist last night, which was kind of my deal as well. And then I got to put together the groomsmen gifts and all of these things, and I got to pack for moving, but it can't be what I wear to work because I got to work these 3 days. But it can't be what I'm going to wear to the wedding because that's already got to be, or a honeymoon because that's got to be in a separate bag. And all of these things. And then my dryer doesn't work where I'm currently at, so that's really cool. So I'm like kind of transporting some clothes to the new apartment to do laundry there just to take back, and it's a great time.
These guys are taking a hit that you're living with too, right? Because you're pulling out there, and so that means their rent's going up.
Well, they've got other plans.
Oh, they've got other plans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So when will you be moved in? To your place?
Maybe like Thursday.
Okay, so it is May. You don't have to wait till like June.
No.
All right. Wedding week has arrived for Hamby. So back to the Rams. I
went to Plato's Closet yesterday. I thought you'd like that.
I've heard of that. What is that, though? Remind me
You
like
take
what?
your clothes, and they buy them off of you.
Oh, so it's like, a kind of Goodwill-ish?
Yeah, but I guess they call it a consignment store. So it's like supposed to be like stuff that...
So you downsized your closet.
Yeah.
That feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like when
there was a ton of stuff.
I love sending stuff to Goodwill, and I'm just like bags
I had
and stuff.
3
I'm like,
bags
why do I still have this in my closet?
Goodwill. Yeah, it's bad.
It's great. Clean that closet out for a minute.
That's right.
If you own a truck, expect help move all the time. Yeah, that's true. Not me though. They don't call me. I'm always the guy. It's so funny too. Like if we have people in the neighborhood or whatever, I'm like, hey, if you need any help, you obviously like try to offer it up. Hey, if you need any help, we're glad to help. Like, which I would, by the way, but also I usually follow it up with, hey, be glad to help. Steph's around all the time. So you can but I'm probably not helping. Right. I don't mind helping, but I probably am not helping. Yeah. So the Rams, Jags in London do anything for you?
I think that was one of the ones that I would have rathered in Jacksonville. That's it. I mean, just as far as, we're kind of gone are the days where we think that's an advantage for us. And if it had been an advantage, then I'd say, okay, I think I like that game being over there as a home game. Because in that case, we'd rather kind of play the tougher opponents over there. But with it only being one game, it kind of levels the playing field. And you think about, there's still a lot of new players on the Jaguars. It's not like our whole team is returning, and it's the same guys who have been to London year after year after year. At this point, the Rams have traveled plenty. So it's probably just going to feel like a neutral site game like it would in college football over there.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think I would have rather to have them play in Jacksonville. That would have been a bigger advantage for us and give us Carolina over there, or give us even maybe, well, you wouldn't want to sacrifice an in-division opponent either. But, I mean, it'll be fun. I think it's one of the more intriguing home matchups that we have, just because of our home schedule. There are not a whole lot of eye-popping ones. So,
yeah, listen, Hamby's Bird says, I'll be in Ireland during the same time as the Vikings Steelers. That's kind of cool. That'd be cool to go to. I guess that's the one thing you do miss with the Jags. It's like, and this is like first world problems here, right? Like, and we go to London all the time, right. So it's always London. It'd be kind of cool if it was somewhere else. Yeah. And you get and I like London. I actually really don't mind the trip at all. I really like London, but I've been to London so many times now that the last year in London, we were there for 10 days, and I went actually into London twice to Shad Khan's hotel. That was it. Like, I didn't even go to see anything or eat anywhere or anything else. I was in some, I could have been
hotel.
I could have been in McClenny. Like, really, that's what I mean. I could have just been at your wedding site for a week, like, or Callahan, a McClenny Callahan, same type of thing. But yeah, it was wild. Like, I just didn't go. But Ireland would be cool, or other places would be cool. But I also don't think the Jags are going to be doing that, which is all right. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what it is. I mean, I think we could break down a million ways, and I think we try to in this time of year. Like, I wish that wasn't the Rams game. I mean, listen, we're going to talk about the game all week, no matter what. You get to talk about all the storylines. You get to talk about Verse and Fisk against the O-line. You get to talk about James Gladstone and everything else. Like, all those things you get to talk about. So whether it happens at 9:30 in the morning or at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is when it would be normally, I don't really think it's that big a difference. Maybe it would be 4 o'clock in the afternoon for the Rams game here in Jacksonville if they did that. So October 19th, Jags in London.
So that'll be week 7.
Yeah, it starts to set the calendar. I do like the London trip, and I think most of them now happen in the first half of the year. What's interesting about this is now Doug Peterson kind of changed. I think he was one. I don't think Marone did it, but maybe Marone did it. But I really think Doug was kind of the one that changed the bye week game a bit. Mm-hmm. He wanted that bye week as late as possible. And so the Jags would play the London, and I'm wondering if they got a pick of that to be like, hey, we'll go play London earlier in the year, but we're not going to take our bye week. Well, now you kind of wonder if this regime said, hey, 7 weeks in, we'll have a pretty good sample size. We're going to come back from London, let's take the bye week. And that would be the, 26th or something. So we're 2 months into the season. Take the bye week, and then you got the long haul, November, December, which makes that side long as well, but it falls in a more appropriate place to take a bye week after 7 weeks and a pretty good sample. So I would assume that's what the Jags are going to do. I don't think they'll bypass that. They could bypass that if they ask the league. I think they get those opportunities to push it into the next few weeks. My assumption, I haven't checked on the schedule. I'd just rather not know the schedule, so I don't even bother saying, hey, what do you hear? I'd just rather not know until it comes out. But I would assume the bye week is right after. And then that would also put the Jags Jags are in a peculiar situation with London because they go on the road for that game, essentially. They also have a very good chance of being away the following week, which would be Florida-Georgia game.
Right.
Right? Now, it's not impossible, but it's kind of impossible. Right. Like, you're going to go on the road that weekend. Now, let me just check me on this, Hamby. Is Florida, Georgia? I'm assuming it's like early November, but maybe it is that following week, then would set up for the bye perfectly.
So, that Jags-Rams is the 19th.
Yeah.
Then if we take the bye, that's the 26th. Then the following Saturday will be November 1st.
So November 1st.
That would be Georgia, Florida.
Yeah. Florida, Georgia, Florida, yeah.
Depends on who's home. I think Florida's home this year.
Yeah, it depends who you root for.
Well, that's true.
I can never keep track of who's home and away in that game. But anyway.
And that's daylight saving time.
Okay.
On the 2nd. So coming back from London, we need an extra hour. It's not happening.
Yeah. So I would assume that I'm going to predict that it's London. I know. It's London week on the 19th. Then it's bye week. Then it's away game. That's what I'm going to predict. That happens. Which then I would think will you go away the week prior? Because remember, the London game's a home game.
Right.
So somewhere in that.
So that's a month stretch without playing a home game.
And that's what happens. The Jags will go, and this is because of what they do. And sometimes now the last couple of years, it's been the last 2 weeks or 2 weeks in a row or 10 days in a row. So 2 games in a row in London. It's usually like a one actual game in Jacksonville in like a 42-day stretch.
Which is
kind of insane.
Not ideal at all.
But it's also become the norm.
Yeah.
So it's just not something that we even, care about that.
I think this
anymore. I don't even think we talk about it anymore.
Well, that's true. I think this is the latest we've played in London because it seems like it's been week 4 and 5, and maybe 6 before.
Well, that's more real. That's more new. If you go back to the early days of London, and it's bounced around. We've played as early as week 3 in London, right here in Jacksonville. Let's say we. You got me saying we, Hamby. Do not get me saying we. I say we in Jacksonville instead of the Jags. But I believe we've gone to London. There we go again. The right around that Florida-Georgia game.
Okay.
So I think they've actually played in London early on or sometime in the last 10, 11 years during that week.
Okay.
But I think more recent examples is playing earlier in the year, like week 3, even week 5, 3 to 6, somewhere in there. So this is a little bit later by the recent standards of getting it on October 19th, but also fits the part. For some reason, I do feel like the league wants, and this might be have to do with daylight savings and other things. Might have to do with travel in the back end of the year and people being fatigued. I think they want the international series stuff pretty much done by November. Now, what else? Who else is playing overseas? The whole thing came out, right?
Yeah, so you got the Commanders and the Dolphins are playing in Madrid, Spain, November 16th.
Oh, okay. So I guess they're not afraid of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the full schedule.
I figured they would. I figured they would try to lean on the first half of the year. Holy cow! I have to put my glasses on, or you can take me through this.
Yeah, I will. So a team to be announced will play the Chargers the second day of the season. So the season starts Thursday, September 4th. I think that's the Cowboys Eagles.
Why aren't they ready to announce that?
I don't know, but it's the team that's going to Sao Paulo, so they'll play the Chargers. The Vikings have 2 games back to back in Dublin, and then they'll go to London.
Oh wow!
Both of those are away.
Wow, I didn't see this. I haven't been looking at this morning. I did not realize that.
And yeah, so I mean, not that it matters that they'll be away both games, but
are they the away team both games?
Well, that's what it looks like here. I would assume that the team on the left.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure this is the right one? This isn't a fake one?
This is what
Just
NFL.
Double check.
Okay, I will. But
that's great. Well, there's 2 things that are kind of goofy. If you're going to announce the international games and the schedule's coming out tomorrow, why don't we know who the Chargers are playing?
This is from the NFL.
There's got to be something out there, and somebody can probably tell us. Like, but why? Isn't that odd?
Yeah.
Like in 24 hours, we're going to know the schedule.
Yeah. Why don't we just put it out right now?
But if we're ready to announce, then announce this tomorrow when you're ready. Like that is so odd. Like, hey, we're going to get a team from where is that? Brazil. We're going to get a Brazilian team to play the Chargers.
Yeah.
We're still working on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's crazy. And then the Minnesota, wow, this is odd.
They got to go from Dublin to, how far is that? I mean, it can't be too far, but.
No, that's kind of awesome, actually. And you don't have to go play like Pittsburgh or Cleveland.
Right.
So it's kind of cool, like, if you're Minnesota, like, being the away team in this stuff is not bad. Now, the fans get a little anxious about here in Jacksonville. So used to the one game now, and of course, now that we get 17, that even evens it out a little bit, or it feels like better. But man, that's wild that Minnesota did that. They want us to stay over there and play, and I bet they will feel like they've got an advantage playing against Cleveland, much like the Jags did. So I figured forever the Jags would be the only team to play like 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
So this is a new experiment.
Yeah, so they'll take a 90-minute flight from Dublin to London.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's a cool trip for the Vikings fans now, if you can pull that one together.
Yeah, like an 8-day trip and catch both.
Yeah, that's the unspoken thing about this stuff is I know Jags fans are kind of like, some of them just don't like this idea of this at all. But now the league is doing it, right? The league is doing all this stuff. And the cool thing about it is the people that have been able to go over there, and it's expensive to go, but if you make that trip, people have really enjoyed it.
Right.
Like I've never met anybody that doesn't enjoy doing it and going over and catching a game at a different venue and then kind of tying it into a trip over to some of these places that you might have on your bucket list to begin with. So for Minnesota fans, I mean, it's going to be an expensive year.
Yeah.
But those are fun trips.
And especially, to avoid playing in Pittsburgh and in Cleveland.
Yeah, especially, well, I mean, they're going to do that pretty early, right? September, October. So it's not like it was November, December. But that would have...
Still, it's just a tough environment.
Yeah, it could be tough environments there.
And then we got the Broncos playing the Jets in Tottenham as well. That's the next week. Before the Jags come, they'll play the Rams. Then we got the Falcons and the Colts in Berlin. Has there been a game in Germany yet?
Yeah.
Okay, there has been.
Yeah.
And then a wrap with the Commanders and Dolphins in Madrid, Spain.
So the new places, do I have this right? The new places are Spain and Brazil?
Yes.
Okay.
There's been a game in Dublin?
Well, has there been an NFL game in Dublin? Because we know there's been college games in Dublin.
Right. That was FSU opener.
Notre Dame. No?
No,
FSU, Georgia Tech.
Tech. Yeah.
Georgia Tech. And I think Notre Dame Navy's played over there too.
Okay.
Pretty sure. But Brazil, I'm guessing, and I haven't looked at any of this, but I'm guessing that they are going to use some of the Olympic venue stuff over there, or maybe they just use a soccer stadium. I don't know. But again, these like the one thing about Tottenham when they built that thing, they built it with NFL ready stuff. The thing about Wembley, it's not like the Jags still have to put a lot into Wembley to make that work. Like it's expensive to even create some of the communications, the other things we've talked about in the past. But
so this is the first regular season NFL game in Dublin.
Yeah, I thought so. So they're in 3 new spots.
This says Dublin hosted an NFL preseason game in 1997 between the Steelers and the Bears.
I could see that.
That's weird.
Yeah. And remember now that back then they had the World League,
right?
And I don't know if that was 97, but they definitely had
American
the World League
Bowl
and other
series.
things. But so they've tried. That was a little bit of a tester back then. Now we get more of this Jags game in UK. Falcons Colts Jeff George poll. That's a real big poll, Mr. Pico. I'm sure there have been many Falcons Colts players now outside of Jeff George. It's kind of a forgotten name in the NFL quarterback circles. So Brazil, Spain, Dublin, Ireland, new places. In Minnesota, that's wild. And a TBD opponent. Fascinating. Wild. I don't understand it.
Didn't the Packers and Eagles play in Brazil last year, though?
Oh, did they?
Remember, because I remember Josh Jacobs.
Was that the field or something that people were complaining about?
Yeah, I remember Josh Jacobs was talking before the game about what they were telling him about Brazil.
Oh, maybe.
I'm pretty sure that was
maybe that's it. Mexico City,
in Sao Paulo,
right?
But
they've done Mexico City.
Yeah,
and,
Mexico City.
Yeah, someday they'll play a game in Australia.
Yeah,
I don't know where else, but they'll keep going. And this is it's becoming normal for NFL teams. And I will say this about the London thing. First, I thought Doug did a really nice job with all the different things that the Jags had to contend with. And he had to contend with some things that were logistically not the norm. He was the first one to have to contend with the 2 weeks in London, the 10 days.
Right.
And he did it back-to-back years. I always think, like, the way he handled busing over to Episcopal for training camp while they built the Miller Electric Center, I thought he handled very well. Like, he wasn't complaining. Now, he could have been complaining behind the scenes, but he was like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Like, he was a perfect guy, in my opinion, to do those kind of things. I don't think he looked for excuses. I don't think he made excuses about it. I think he kind of understood what it was and kind of figured it out. The other thing I would say is, as much as there's been angst in the fan base at times about the London stuff and whatever, especially when there's going to be 2 home games and all that, the players don't feel you the way you feel. And they haven't. The players have this generation of players has really embraced the idea of going over and playing there. Mm-hmm. Now, does everyone love it? I doubt it. You hate the trip. I mean, it's 8 or 9 hours in a flight. But they don't really complain about it. I've been over there, a lot. They don't really complain about it. They don't use it as an excuse on the losing side. Jags have won. They've lost. They've got hammered. They've hammered people. They've got all different renditions of this. And what I always say is, there's just no way you're fully 100% when you get over there and feel great. But they're so used to playing not 100% in the NFL after week 2 that it's okay. But I give them credit because they don't, people complain about Thursday night games more than they complain about international games.
100%.
Right? There's definitely more complaints around the league for good reason on the Thursday night games than there is for any of these London games. So, that to me is fascinating. All these West Coast trips, Liam Cohen was asked about. You got London, of course. It's always going to be a long trip. Now the Jags go, we said it yesterday, Denver, Arizona, the Raiders, San Fran. I think those are the 4 trips.
Yep.
And now Denver's not technically a West Coast trip, but it's 2 hours, mountain time, elevation, all that stuff. The other trips are 3-hour time difference, and the Jags never have fared well out there, quite frankly. Some of that's because, well, they haven't fared well in a lot of places, but they just have not played well out there. There is some, I think, momentum behind, I would say, of them trying to stay out there maybe back-to-back weeks to alleviate some of the back and forth. Will the schedule that comes out tomorrow have that? And could they stay, instead of a week in London this year, stay a week out west, which, by the way, there's precedent for that. I think it was 2013 we did that with the Jags when they played back-to-back weeks when it was the Oakland Raiders and the Seattle Seahawks. So there is precedent for it. Will the Jags ask the league to do it? Could be interesting of note. But here's what Liam Cohen had to say about the whole schedule, the West Coast, and maybe even that topic as well.
You guys have a lot of West Coast trips.
Yeah.
Did you request to the league to do anything back-to-back, or do you want to avoid that?
Nah, I kind of haven't really requested much. I let Tony Baselli handle that stuff. But, no, it's more so just, hey, let's remain fluid, right? We have to understand that, yes, we can ask for some things, but ultimately it's the league's decision, and we got to have the mindset to go play anybody, anytime, any place.
I'm just glad I didn't hear about the Shield.
What? Like, in what respect?
Doug just found ways to mention the Shield.
Oh, is that because that's funny? Like, that's one I didn't pick up on a lot. Is that like, did a lot of people pick up on that?
Well, it was just like, man, especially at the end of last year, it was like, man, is this guy trying to get a job? You sent him for a job in the league office one day. It's just like, well, you got to protect the Shield. Everything's about the Shield. It's just like, he would deflect questions about the Jags, then turn it into questions about the Shield.
Yeah. If you were Liam, would you want? Because again, a lot of you can request things. Now you don't always get. We can all request things. We don't always get it, but if you were him, would you request staying back-to-back weeks out west? Because really, if you start to imagine the schedule, I mean, let's just do this without doing it, but think about it. You got 18 weeks to play 17 games. You've also got like a Thanksgiving holiday mixed in there. You've got an opener where you're not going to like go back-to-back weeks anywhere in the first couple weeks. You don't want to be doing it on the back-to-back weeks of the end of the season. Those are usually reserved for AFC South. So I'm going to take the first 2 weeks off, the last 2 weeks off. Now you're down to 14 weeks, 13 games. I'm going to take Thanksgiving out, Christmas week out, and now you're down to 12 weeks, 11 games. I'm going to take the bye week out and the London week out, and now you're down to 10 weeks, 10 games. So now you've got 10 weeks and 10 games, and probably in there you've got 4 home games. So now you've got 6 weeks and 6 games, and 4 of them are out west.
That's quick math.
Did I do that pretty well?
I think so.
I was on the fly, folks. That was pretty good. 6 weeks, 6 games, 4 out west. Now, where does that go and all that, right? I mean, you could utilize the month of October for that, but again, you're getting close to London. I would say somewhere in November, after the bye week, the Jags, it would make sense for them to potentially go, let's just say, November 1st and November 8th. Folks, I want to let you know, if I get this right, I have no idea. Like, I seriously don't know the schedule. And everyone over at Jags, I don't know the schedule. So if I somehow get this right, just because I'm smart, I don't want you to come text me and tell me that I spilled the beans here, all right? Because I really don't know. But November 1st, November 8th, or November 8th to 15th, that's your window to maybe say, you know what? Instead of back and forth, you're going to probably have one in October. Or maybe early in the season. It could be on the road the first week or the second week where you're going to go out west. Or I would say in the first 3 weeks, I bet they go west one time.
Sure.
But then you've got London. So you want to stay away from that by week 7. And then the bye week is my guess. So that puts, I think, November 1st and 8th or 8th and 15th as, hey, you know what? This might make sense. Let's go San Fran to Las Vegas and stay out there. And by the way, you're probably hoping that Denver ain't in December,
Right.
And then you got one more in December that you're probably going to have to go. You're probably going to have to go to either Arizona or Denver. Or, again, one of it doesn't matter which one, but you're probably going to have to get out there in December. So my prediction is first 3 weeks of the season they make a West Coast trip. I'm going to guess they asked when they did this, like early to middle of November, they put a back-to-backer out there. Because I think that makes sense rather than keep coming back and your body's having to adjust and everything else. So, and then I think there's probably one more in December. Again, the last 2 weeks of the year that they've been it seems like the league has gone play your division in the last month of the year specifically, right? Sure. And so I don't think you're going to run into it that way. And by the way, I said Christmas week and Thanksgiving week. That might not be one to get out. Here we go again. We have traveled. I'll say we have traveled, not played. We have traveled, meaning me, to Arizona Thanksgiving weekend, which, by the way, was a great trip because I took the family out for Thanksgiving weekend. It was awesome. And then the Jags have also played on Christmas Eve in San Francisco, the year they went to the playoffs in 2017, which was insane by the league. The fact that the league puts you in San Francisco on Christmas Eve is asinine. It's totally asinine. You get back at 5 in the morning. I mean, tell me you don't care about the players and their families, sending Jacksonville to San Francisco on Christmas Eve. The coolest part about that trip, though, is we literally had Tom Coughlin did and others, if you wanted to. At the back of the plane did a little mass church ceremony, in midair.
Interesting.
Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. It was kind of cool.
All right.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. That was kind of a neat memory there. So, they all have. Thanksgiving one is not bad, right? If you had to go out west in Thanksgiving, I don't think that's a bad deal.
Remember when we really wanted the Jags Lions Thanksgiving Day last year?
Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't get it. The Jags? The Jags aren't playing either one, right? Lions, Cowboys.
Correct.
Yeah. So now they're not probably playing in prime time. That's not going to be their prime time game. That's a huge stage.
Right.
Who they announced? KC and who for Christmas? Eagles?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, they announced that last night. I think Schefter or somebody. I think the NFL might have announced it, but the Jags probably aren't playing those primetime games during then. And then they announced the Amazon game. I think it's Chicago, and maybe that was Chicago and Philly.
Christmas is Chiefs Broncos.
Chiefs Broncos on
Prime.
All right, so you take the Broncos out of the Christmas week for the Jags. So anyway, hey, listen, I think it's kind of fun to predict it. Are they doing some big contests in the predicting of the schedules?
I haven't seen those.
No? Man, I thought some teams did that, season tickets for a year or something if you could predict the schedule.
I want to go real quick. With the Chargers not being announced their opponent, how are we not even already able to discern who that is just by process of elimination?
Well, someone may have.
But the Jags, it can't be the Jags. The Jags play the Chargers.
Yeah, it ain't them.
But it can't be them. So, I feel like this has got to be out there, which makes it all the more strange that the NFL just wouldn't put it out.
Yeah, it's really odd. I don't. I mean, again, I haven't read around today on. There's maybe something behind it, but what? It's really goofy. It's almost like somebody filed a protest and was like, I don't want to play down there.
Well, this says that, this is just a report that they'll host the Chiefs in Sao Paulo week 1.
Okay. That's interesting, too, because, I would think if I was the Chargers, I'd be protecting, the Chiefs game at home.
Right.
Right? I don't know how big their schedule. I don't know which one they would, but anyway. Listen, we'll know in a day. Here's the deal. We'll know in a day. So the Jags and Rams and a bunch of West Coast trips. I do think I've become a big believer over these last couple of years, more than anything else, that the schedule matters. Mm-hmm. The schedule really matters. And I didn't put a lot of stock into it. I always thought the schedule from a selfish standpoint just set my calendar for the year. and I still do. But it really opened my eyes in 22 and 23 and 24. So really 23 and 24. If you go back to that, when the Jags had a first place, well 22, take it, sure. Right? They had a last place schedule coming into 22. They were able to navigate it. And they got some help, too. It's not like they played all bad teams. You don't do that in the NFL, but it was something you can navigate. But they got a first-place schedule going into 23. And that was fine when you were 8-3, but it wasn't fine in that 4-week stretch when right at the right time, or the wrong time. When the Jags got hurt, they also played the toughest part of the schedule. Like we all knew when it came out in May, okay, this is a grinder here now. You got Cincinnati on a Monday night. You got the Ravens on a Sunday night. Fortunately, both at home. Can you win one of those games? And then in between there, I can't remember who you had, but also you had Tampa at the back end on the road on like Christmas Eve. And so there was like a 4 or 5 game stretch. I think it was 4. It was all in December. And I forget who they played on that next week after the Bengals. Golly, I should know this, but I forget. So anyway, that was a grind of a schedule right there. I think it was the Browns. I think they had to go to Cleveland.
Okay.
And the Browns were pretty good that year. Made the playoffs. So the timing of, Tampa was playing really good football. The Browns were playing pretty good football right at that time with Joe Flacco.
Oh, that's
you know Baltimore's good.
Right.
You know the Bengals are good. Now you got a break with the Bengals not having Joe Burrow, and that didn't even matter because you got broke. Like, really, that was the same time. I mean, I don't think people put enough stuff. Like, people don't want to admit fortune, luck, all this stuff. But come on, it goes into this stuff. It's not all this stuff, but it goes into it. The Jags got really unlucky that they got hurt at the time they had that stretch of the season. Like, really unlucky. They only had to win one game. If Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence are healthy in that Monday night game against the Bengals, they win the game. Mm-hmm. Like, they absolutely win the game. Even though Beathard played pretty well, but they win the game. And then they go to the playoffs and they limp into the playoffs much like the Eagles did, by the way, the same year. And all of it doesn't feel as bad. Well, crazy enough, you come out of that year where I really thought the schedule mattered, is my point, right? The Jags were not used to playing really good team, good team, good team, good team, like in a row. Some of these primetime games, they weren't ready for that. Like honestly, they weren't ready for it. They weren't far enough along, and they didn't handle it well, and they didn't do well on top of being maybe a little bit unlucky. Well, I thought last year, I was like, okay, well, now they're going to get like a third-place schedule. What was kind of crazy about last year is Houston, if you look at Houston's first-place schedule versus the Jags' third-place schedule, I didn't think it looked that different. I did not think it looked vastly different. And so was that just a product of the year? Well, it was. Last year was a weird year in the NFL. We had teams that were really good and teams that were all bad. Like it was not as, the parity was not as filled out as it usually is. It was kind of like haves and have-nots. So anyway, I do think the schedule matters. Now the Jags will get hopefully a better looking schedule, but it doesn't look great on paper with all these West Coast trips. Like, that's a bad break. It's a bad break to have 4 West Coast trips. Just is. That's just the nature of when it falls. It's not ideal. So we'll see. Hey, Z Fortner, you're right. If Anton didn't get called for holding at the end of that Bengals game, Doug P would still be our coach. Like, who did I bring that up to yet? Where was I? Oh, I think I was going out to that Clay thing yesterday, and I said that. I just brought up that play, the Anton play. Mm-hmm. I was like, they would. You're absolutely right. If they don't call that, which some people think that was real ticky-tack in overtime, they win that game. I don't know if Doug would still be the coach, but you could be right. You could be right. Oh, yeah, Jags are always going to be near the top of this list, but, man, look at those West Coast teams. They're like, hey, we do this every year, folks.
AFC North is getting off the hook here.
Yeah. Will that matter? It'll be interesting to bring something like this and see if any of this matters where the good teams versus, you handle it. You learn to handle it. If you're a veteran team, you can handle it. If you have good culture, you can handle it. If you know how to win, you can handle it. If you're good enough, you can win anywhere. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC, we are professional grade.
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
It's fast-paced,
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
high-fly,
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
action-packed, weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks. I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gonna be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
People love these guys right now, man. I absolutely love these guys. And I think they're doing a great job. Like, I think Tony Baselli's doing a good job. I don't know as much behind the scenes of what James Gladstone's doing. I like everything about him so far. I think it's been fun. Some people would argue, especially in the industry that I've talked to, it's like, all right, it's a little bit like, does he need to say all that? Does he need some people's view that I've talked to was, all right, listen, you trade up to get number 2, you give a lot away. Mm-hmm. There can be a lot unsaid about how big a deal it is. But then you kind of pile on a little and say, this guy's going to change the game, right?
Right.
Like, well, you obviously thought that if you moved up and got the stuff.
Sure.
But did you need to say it?
So in
every interview.
They would characterize it as a little over the top.
Yeah, or just
a little extra.
A little extra, and, was it necessary to put on the player?
Belaboring the point.
Right. Put on the player, put on the franchise. But here's what I would say about it. First of all, I have no problem with it because I'm in the media and I like it. So that's one thing. 2, if I'm being honest. 2, I think it was already spoken. We already know he's a unicorn in terms of Travis Hunter.
Right.
And we already know when you move up like that and you make that kind of splash move that you think a lot of things. Like he's a game changer for you and your franchise. Now, the one that did get everybody's attention was this guy could change the game. But if you really think about it, anybody could have wrote that because he is like right now football's version of Shohei Ohtani, who has changed the game, we think. And we think we'll see if he's changed the game because we'll find out if there are more people like it. So that play and pitch and hit in baseball, we haven't really got there yet. But will we see an influence of that? With Jack Caglianone, who's not, it looks like he's just hitting, right? But he could have been an option for something like this, and maybe more to come like it. So you could change the game is the point. The other thing that I actually appreciate about this from Gladstone is him emphasizing it is 2 things. He's remember the emotional IQ part of these guys, right? They read the room really well. He knows that Travis Hunter, first of all, can handle it. So he wouldn't say that if he had a timid guy coming in here and is like a little, like, well, you don't sense any of that with Hunter. And so I think he felt comfortable with this guy being able to handle the weight of it. So it says a lot about Hunter, says a lot about their belief in him. But I also think it adds pressure to them. It adds pressure to this front office. And again, unspoken, right? You go trade away a first-round draft pick next year. You open yourself up to criticism. You don't have a second-round pick this year. You're trying to build a roster and build a team and get the Jags off the mat for a long time to come. Then you're already doing that anyway, but you added with a quote that reverberated around the league.
Right, that people can go and clip and so, put out there after every loss or whatever the case may be.
So to me, it's a little bit of a show of accountability. And also like, hey, we'll put this on us.
Yeah.
We're signing up for it. It's okay. So I kind of appreciate it, but I also get the take. I mean, we like it around here. We like everything that goes with Travis Hunter. If you're watching from outside the NFL or you're an inside NFL person that's been around the league, I can see, Hamby, why you'd be like, dude, settle down.
Yeah. Well, it's just because they're not always, it doesn't matter what guys put on tape in college. To some extent, there's always risk involved, and so I think that the aspect of slam dunk that maybe this is the older crowd in the NFL who have seen that they've had. Hey, I was this bullish on somebody before, and it didn't work out. Now maybe not as bullish as Gladstone is on Travis Hunter because he is, still, there's only so many best players in each draft class, but so they've been tempered by their, life's decisions or whatever. And so they're kind of coming at it of, look, I'm glad I didn't do this because I would have put more pressure on myself or more headlines or whatever. as a general manager or somebody in football where, look, if you don't have to do this, don't. Save yourself and, let the draft choice and trading up speak for itself.
Yeah, I get that too, and I kind of like what you just said there because I think this is another separation from old guard to new wave.
Right.
Where it's like, yeah, whatever. Like the league thinks the way I brought this up. The league is like, why would you say that? Well, the league also don't believe in like saying anything.
Right.
Right? These guys are saying stuff. And when you say stuff, sometimes your comments are going to be loud and sometimes it's going to be like, yeah, whatever, you just kind of talked for 5 minutes.
Right.
But that's what else they're doing. I mean, they're being more transparent. They're not afraid to say stuff. And I think that's going to continue on. And yes, you're right. Are we going to be able to hold them accountable with their words? Yeah. But guess what? We did that. We've been doing that for 15, 16 years anyway, even when people weren't saying a lot.
Right.
Right? With words or actions, you've got accountability to be had. And I just continue to think if you're honest about it and you practice what you preach and everything else. Like I always say this about a guy like Dave Caldwell. It stuck with me. He did it at a pre-draft luncheon, and he's the one that said, hey, listen, we're going to have to take some risks. We are not going to have 53 angelic players. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's like, we are not going to, angelic's a good word, by the way, if you can throw that in. So we are not going to have 53 angelic players. And I was like, okay, like he's kind of telling us, and this wasn't like year one, but this was, yeah, we have red flags on people, but we're also not going to just shy away from everybody because of red flags. It'll depend what degree of that is. And you almost need some of those guys. Well, now I fast forward all the way to last year. The Jags had a lot of angelic players, it felt like.
Yeah.
And they needed some of those. Right? So he's not totally wrong. The balance of that is interesting. But there are just some things that really stand out. And what I say about that is if you're going to say it, you've got to practice it. If you're going to preach it, you got to practice it. And so far, so good on this regime to be able to do that. And they'll have to do that for years and years to come. So it's pretty interesting on the Travis Hunter stuff. And guess what? Like, it's an early legacy play for Gladstone anyway to even make the move. It's a big time legacy play if he's right. Like, I mean, this is where GMs go to like Hall of Fame someday.
Sure.
Right? With moves like this. So I think, and by the way, I'm not putting him in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying, like, these are the moves you remember. And you don't remember GMs for a lot of things. Like, if you think of GMs, who are we remembering? I mean, we can go think about it. The only GM that comes to mind anytime I bring up a topic like this, honestly, are either bad GMs or like Bill Polian. Like Bill Polian's like the only he's like the most notable GM to me.
Other than Jerry Jones.
Yeah, but he doesn't feel like a GM. So like I don't even put him in the category. You're right, but I don't put him in that category. He's an owner. Like he's an owner way before he's a GM.
Right.
So and listen, I know we could rattle off GMs. I'm just telling you, like, you don't think of him. Is Les Snead starting to become that guy? Maybe, if they keep doing this. But even there, you kind of feel McVay. You feel McVay more than you feel. Will we feel Gladstone if this works out more than we feel Cohen? Or will, once Sundays come and hopefully winning comes, you feel Cohen more? And that's what this team wants, by the way. So the other fascinating part of this to me is seeing that picture. And I saw that picture. A lot of the media folks, and obviously our media folks got that shot too. Or maybe that was the Jags. I don't know. Did you get that from Jags or was that something we shot, Marcel?
Which one?
The shot of Gladstone and Baselli.
Marcel shot that one.
Yeah.
But the Jags put out a very similar thing.
Yeah, so even the Jags are putting it out, which is really, that's what got my attention this week.
Aura.
So, yeah, they're not shying away from it.
Right.
One of my compliments of Baselli so far, and the reason I think he's doing a good job, is from pre-draft luncheon where he steps away to when he's willing to come on with us on the draft day, and this back and forth where he's not always in it, but he's sometimes in it. I think you're going to see that with Gladstone too. Like I think once this period, like you're going to see Gladstone kind of lay in the weeds, and now we hand off to Liam Cohen, and then you'll see Gladstone back a little bit, probably right around I would say camp and roster time. will happen with that shot that you just saw on the football spinning, but we won't probably hear from him that much. And I think he'll be requested because of what he was such a star during the draft time that even the Good Morning Footballs and everybody else will request him. Right. And maybe they'll grant some interviews. But once the season starts, he's going to be, I think, from all I can gather, typical in the GM role of, okay, this is Liam Cohen and the football team.
Right.
Now, if there's somewhere to come out from an accountability standpoint, I wonder if he'll pop out. Like that was one of the criticisms of Balky is that you just never heard from him. So it's kind of like you're throwing Doug Peterson out to deal with everything, which is also his job, by the way. He gets paid quite a bit of money to do that as the head coach. So, yeah, I just really think seeing that shot that Marcel had, but also the Jags pushed out, I can't get over how much people like that shot. Like, I'm serious. Like, think about this for a minute. Like, you've been around, if you know Jacksonville Jaguar football, like that's, I mean, you'd never get the shot in the early days of Coughlin because he was doing both, right? I don't know if I missed like between 2000 and like 2008. Are you getting Shaq Harris and Jack Del Rio, or like you didn't have the EVP, right? So you're not taking that kind of shot. Could we get a shot of him on the field? Yeah, but was it like, oh, no, I don't think so. Gene Smith, no, with Del Rio, and then all these. I don't have to go through them all. You did have like, if we had the Miller Electric Center and Tom Coughlin when he was in the EVP role, and Dave Caldwell were up there in 2017, I think people would have been like, oh, that's a cool shot, right? And Marone down on the practice field. So if you had a similar shot. But this one is totally different. Like, even with that. And it would have been applauded I know in hindsight it won't be, but it would have been applauded, the Caldwell-Coughlin one in 2017. Especially if we did this in, like, coming off the 2017 season. So if we really did it in 2018. People would, because remember that people were going to the Super Bowl in 2018. But, I mean, I think people are I don't think people can get enough of James Gladstone right now. Do I have that right, or am I overplaying?
No, I think you're right. I mean, if you saw the reception to that video, it's like nothing is happening. He's literally just standing up there watching. The captain's actually checking the ecosystem that the Jaguars put out there.
Well, you can really caption. See, that's the other thing. Like, some people don't like the phrases that I put on T-shirts and stuff, but like I think a lot of people do, and I think a lot of people actually will use that and use the different phrases. So.
Yeah.
It's
like the most liked response to that was him, and somebody put a picture of Thanos right next to him and was like, I can't tell the difference.
I've never experienced anything like it.
People just think he's like, he's different, and he's cool, and he's brought a swagger to Jacksonville that I don't think anybody thought a GM would. It's not only that he brought it, it's just, again, and we've talked plenty about just the fact of how different he is from Trent Baalke is making the most of this. But at the same time...
Well, that's a good point, right? It's that...
But at the same time, this is just different from GMs in general.
It is.
And it's not really the age thing, I don't think.
It might play a little.
It might play a little bit of a role, but it's just his personality, and the vibe that he gives is that he's kind of a boss.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's the whole thing, and I mean, yeah, I think he's far reaching because of the 34-year-old thing. I think really adds to it. His whole look, like, doesn't look like a football guy.
No.
Like, he does not look like this big, burly football guy. He looks like he could be working at NASA, or he looks like he could be your high school phys ed teacher.
He could be working at Chipotle.
I mean, he really could be like a million things.
Right.
And quite frankly, he almost was like that.
Yeah.
So, but he looks smart enough to be like,
absolutely,
working at Cape Canaveral or wherever they are. Houston? Yeah. I don't know. Are they Cape Canaveral? Yeah. That's it. They got two of them at NASA.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's a big one too, right? So Yeah, it is something about him. It's like, these guys are all saying Hamby's aura. The guy's got a lot of confidence. He's easier to listen to. He is. Like, he does talk like a real person. You don't get that a lot out of these guys, especially the last one, right? The last one was tough to listen to.
Does he remind you of anybody?
That's a great call. No, well, I just asked this question, which is kind of I can't wait for the responses to this one. I think I said on the tweet, like, everybody seems like people are in love with James Gladstone. And I said, is he Theo Epstein? Because I've been begging for a little Theo in Jacksonville for a long time, whether it was a lunch with Shad Khan or something, because that dude found a way to break the bad.
Curses?
Yeah. I mean, he really found a way, and he did it, I think, a different way. He was on that forefront, like he was coming up in that time frame of analytics, the whole Bill James movement, right? The whole Moneyball stuff in baseball. Like, I mean, are we about to draw a comp? Now, he wasn't the guy, but neither is James Gladstone. Like, Snead and others are that guy. Mm-hmm. But the understudy, and I got to go back and look at the whole, like, Epstein story. I wonder if there's been a documentary on Epstein. There's had to have been, right? Like, where did he... give me his back. Is he an MIT guy or a Harvard guy?
There's a Netflix documentary, The Comeback, which he's featured, but it's not really about him. It's about the whole team.
I wonder if he just doesn't do one or want to do one. He's got to be one of the most fascinating front office guys in the history of sports.
He was Yale.
Okay. So he's a super smart guy. I'm gonna go try to dig into this. This was not on the radar today. So
he was the understudy to the to the Red Sox president.
Yeah, to Lucchino.
First. Yeah,
to Larry Lucchino and everything. And they see, like, when Larry Lucchino, I was getting out of college and I was in Providence for a couple of these years, like leading up to the Red Sox 03, 04. Then I was in Albany, so I was around it. But like, if you go back and take that time, at least the way I remember it, like, Lucchino and that group comes into Boston, and one of the things they do is they start to build around Fenway Park too. Like, I don't know which came first, but they change Fenway Park a bit, where, they build almost like a Camden Yardish, kind of try to use the space, but they also keep the Fenway Park. But they were doing things at first we were like, what are you doing? Like, don't touch that. Like, there was that kind of element to it. Well, in part of all this, with that leadership group, they bring in Epstein. And so he left the position as the Padres president. Lucchino becomes president, chief executive officer of the Red Sox. So it would have been like if Snead came here, right?
Right.
And then, so that part didn't happen. He hired Epstein. End of the 2002 season, Lucchino appointed Epstein to replace interim general manager Mike Port. Epstein credited, by the way, with trading away Nomar Garciaparra, Bill Miller, and Curt Schilling.
And acquiring Curt Schilling.
I'm sorry, and acquiring Bill Miller and Curt Schilling. But Nomar was like, what did he do?
Right.
Right? That's, if you want, that's the Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk. Maybe it's the Evan Ingram, right? And so anyway, you know the history with the Red Sox. And then he goes on to Chicago. If you don't know the name Epstein, this is what we're talking about. So is he Epstein? Like, Epstein is now 51 years old, but we watched this dude grow up. Well, I did, because I was in that area. But so in 1997, what's that, 28 years ago?
Yeah.
He was 23 working for the Padres? Is that right?
How is that possible?
Wow. If that's right, is my math right on that? So 51.
He took over for the Red Sox when he was 27.
So he's 27. So, I mean, again, we got a lot to prove here in Jacksonville first. But is this like the closest thing? And by the way, like, Theo Epstein, I don't know how he was viewed in Boston, like, totally different market and everything else, of course. A 27-year-old guy, yeah, like, whatever. I'm sure the consternation in Boston with the writers and everybody else, like, what the hell is this kid doing here? Like there was probably that at first. And I don't know if there was like this cool factor of a Yale guy coming. Like, so that's what's interesting about the whole Gladstone thing. Like, you don't usually associate smart guys, everything with like the cool factor.
Right.
Right? Like you don't usually do that. But there is something cool about Gladstone. And I think some of it is it feels so different. And this could be the Jags finally. Like I've been begging Shad to have lunch with Theo Epstein for years and just at least bend his ear about this stuff or bring him in. We've had conversations over the years. And if people have been listening for a while where I've said, hey, could you bring Epstein into this sport?
Right.
Could you bring him? Could he do something like that? Obviously, nobody has. I got to believe somebody would have tried if they could and they thought it would work. But that's unusual. Like people don't like to do unusual.
Right.
Well, this is unusual. He's the second youngest GM, obviously, and the only other guy is Andrew Berry, right up in Cleveland. So this has a little bit of an Epstein thing. Coach Ripley says Epstein, in my opinion, is a Hall of Fame. Well, he has to be. I mean, he's legendary. Built 2 championships for the Cubs and Sox. That's been my whole point for years. It's like, how does this guy do? What do you tap into that? So kind of fascinating if you look at Gladstone. I'm just enamored. I'm not necessarily enamored with as much Gladstone as I am with this fan base right now and their affinity for him. Like it's really, again, coming out of that mini camp, we're all talking Travis Hunter. But the shot that you just showed from Marcel and the other shots that were out there and people were like snapping pictures of him up there spinning the football and then sometimes him and Baselli, like that is a shot right now that people are like wrapping their arms around. Like these are the dudes.
Very true.
And that is just unique here. That is very different. It's pretty wild to have so much belief in people who have never done it. Never done it. They've never done this. And I think they're off to a hell of a start, by the way, but they've never done this. And we have so much belief here in Jacksonville, it feels like, at least Jags fans, and maybe I'm misreading the room, but I think you do, that these guys are the ones to get it done. And I think Hamby's right to some degree. And I think this is a juxtaposition of sorts of, okay, no more Balky. Right? No more Balky. No more Urban, no more Balky. And I think Peterson gets a little bit too much. That dude won the Super Bowl. Like, he probably knows how to coach. I don't know how much of that is fair to him. I've said at times it's been unfair to even a Balky, but I think this whole juxtaposition of what just took place over the last 18 months versus this now is really, really interesting to watch how much belief that they've got. Ripley says, Jags fans who understand baseball are all praying your comparison is right. If it is, hold on tight. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot to prove, right?
Delphonics said the Gladstone clip is how my wife looked at me playing with the kids on Mother's Day.
Can we see the Gladstone clip again before we take a break?
Let's do it.
I wonder if there are other GMs like in sports that have, and we just don't know it. I like the one that Marcel had. Like, this one's cool. Fine.
This is the official one.
Oh, this was the one from the Jags, yeah. And by the way, like, the Jags are celebrating it too. Like, the Jags are, a lot of times that you would be like, okay, put them in the background now.
Yeah.
Not the, like, they weren't tweeting out stuff for Trent Baalke, I can tell you that.
Never.
This is Marcel's shot of it from mini camp. And those two guys, football in hand.
Football in hand.
Wild. It's really, again, maybe seems a bit dramatic to spend the time on it, but I think we don't talk about stuff like this. This is a real deal thing in Jacksonville over these last few days. Shots like this seem to really matter to the fan base. We'll be right back. Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jags Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University. Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School. Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Will Olive, Mandarin High School. Go Stangs.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School.
Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002. Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Oh, they love this guy, Wyatt Milum. Time to talk about some other players. We did have Tootin on yesterday, and then obviously a lot of Travis Hunter talk. And
hey, what's up with the hoodies? Everybody's wearing a hoodie.
Well, I think this is fat season. With all due respect, sorry, Coach. I'm not calling you fat. I'm just saying I know it is for me. So if I was out there, like, how much can I sweat off?
They're trying to sweat as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So Gladstone's wearing it too, so it doesn't apply to him. He doesn't have any to burn.
Yeah, but he's got like the light hoodie on. Like I'd wear like the light hoodie even in the heat. That's more protection for the sun. That wasn't like a heavy. Was it heavy? The one that he on?
That one looked pretty heavy.
Well, plus he's sitting out there. If he wants to go back inside, he can go inside. You know, but that like the one Coach just had on, that seemed like a heavy one. Plus it's black, and I mean he was sweating through it. You could already see it. Right. But a lot of those guys would do that this time of year. And try to get in shape for the football season, like we all do. Wyatt Milum, people like this guy, like what he's saying, like the idea that it's an offensive lineman, so it feels like improvement is on the way in that spot where it's always so criticized. I don't know yet. Like I'm not doing this. I continue to tell myself and you, I'm not doing this over third round picks. That right now I can't find a spot for him to play. Honestly, like I don't know where he's playing. So if I can't pencil him in right away, then I'm not going to sit there and tell you I love the guy and think he's going to be a game changer. I think a lot of people want these folks in the draft. Some of these guys, from Milum to Ransaw, who we'll talk about here in a little bit on our Paint the that one painter first coast Paint the Player. But they want Tootin. They want these guys to like immediate impact, like right off the rip in week one. And I just don't know how you can see that happening and pencil it in. Now, is that a problem if they don't? Maybe you could argue that. But I don't know where they do. I can't tell you that a guy that I've never seen play is better than one that has a 5-year resume in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And that was my big problem with Mason Graham and getting him, because if you did, Mason Smith had like 3 sacks in like the last 6-7 games last year, and seems to be a specimen, by the way, way more than Mason Graham. Mm-hmm. And then Eric Armstead's got a decade in the league, and we know he can play well. We just know he didn't last year. And we think he's going back to a spot. So that was my whole belief. Well, it's kind of the same thing here. Anton Harrison, we'll see. Walker Little, we'll see. And then obviously more where Milum is pegged to go. Ezra Cleveland now has, 5-6 years in the league and a contract extension under him. Mm-hmm. Makari, I'm not like totally drinking the Kool-Aid here on Makari and Hainsey. But I would say, like, again, the guys played at Baltimore and Makari. So right now, the spot to go get, in my opinion, for Milum would be Makari's spot. But they just paid him to come in here, and they think he obviously can contribute. And just because they didn't pay Ezra, they weren't the guys that did that for Ezra Cleveland, doesn't mean they're going to go replace him on week 1. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's my whole thing. It's just I'm not telling you it can't happen. I love the fact they built depth, a little bit down the road look, whether it comes to Tootin and even a Ransaw and a Milum. But I just don't know how you can sit here and say, oh, yeah, those guys are going to be big factors here in 2025. And I think that's a little bit of the problem with the Jags right now in predicting how they're going to be. Because I just did this yesterday with someone, and it's a fair question to ask, like, are the Jags better?
Right.
And how much better are they? And really what you're hanging your hat on, in my opinion, is coaching, health, and goofy stats.
Murphy's Law.
I mean, again, you've heard me enough. I don't have to say it, but the turnovers and the close loss stat, combined with the health of Trevor Lawrence, who really hasn't been for the back half of the year 2 years in a row, and then you're hoping you're getting a coaching bump to really tap into some of the guys you have, say, in Eric Armstead, right, or a Devin Lloyd, or you name it. But fair question, if you're looking outside in and you don't believe in any of those 3 things I just said, to say, how much better are they?
Name me one position where we're better, matter-of-factly.
I think, matter-of-factly, I say receiver. Because I think you have something, you've created, like, obviously a huge Christian Kirk fan. And losing Christian Kirk was a big blow. But you have replaced Christian Kirk. Like, Kirk is good, but Travis Hunter is dynamic. Mm-hmm. Like, Kirk was not dynamic. He was very good, and again, loved him. Brought a lot to the team. But Travis Hunter makes you have something few people have
right.
with Brian Thomas Jr. So it's really like Coach Ripley says, wide receiver too. I think it's just a package deal, Hamby, to say like your 1-2 punch now at wide receiver is better than last year.
I don't think, I agree with you because Travis Hunter, I think projected down the line is going to be way better. But if Christian Kirk played 17 games last year, I bet his stats would pretty much be very comparable to what Travis Hunter's would be this year.
That's fair. I think you're not. I don't think you're wrong. In
this
fact,
year.
I think you're probably right. But which one changes defenses more?
Definitely Travis Hunter's, no doubt about it.
And which one changes then what you want to do on offense?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So many different things are going to be open just from a total offense perspective.
And that's without adding in that receiver can also play defense.
Of course. Of course.
but it's a fair question. Like, go up. The line, is it better? I would argue it is because I'd rather have two 27-year-old guys and a 30-year Anton Harrison and a couple of guys that now have played together for a little bit in Walker Little and Ezra Cleveland than have two aging guys in Morse and Sheriff, and I don't know how much is left, right?
Sure.
So I think I can say, but I got to explain it. The running back room, some say, well, they got how much elevated?
Right.
Like, we don't know on two. And I'm not going to say that. Right. We don't know. The tight end room, no. I mean, Evan Ingram had too much. Like that, you can't say that. Mm-hmm. The one I go to on the defensive side is I think now that you say you're going to play Eric Armstead in that spot,
and that you signed Ogba.
That makes your D-line feel better to me because you have a plan. Now you've got to have a plan and stick to it.
Right.
But I feel like they're going to get more out of it because they don't have this charade going on with whoever their third edge guy is and everything else. Mm-hmm. So I think the simple answer to your question to me, I go wide receiver, and then I go defensive line. And by the way, if you really want to be a negative guy, you can argue with me on it.
Right.
But I think I've got a pretty good argument against it. So those are my quick answers. Everywhere else, I can't. I think it's a good question.
Other than nickel, because we believe that Jordan Lewis is an upgrade. It's not an indictment on Jerry and Jones.
Yeah.
But we believe Jordan Lewis is going to play better than Jerry did last year.
That's fair. But listen, we thought Savage was coming in to play that spot.
Right.
And we also thought Darby was playing. Like, if you take what we thought about Tyson, Darby, Savage, and now put it up against Tyson, Jari, and Lewis, I think you could make the claim last year going in you felt better.
Yeah. Just because you just don't know how much Travis Hunter's going to play on that side.
Well, and we now have more evidence that Tyson hasn't stayed healthy.
Right.
So a lot going on there. And again, that's why I'm trying to be realistic about it. And that's why I go to the coaching aspect. Has to be better. Like the defense can't be worse. It can't be worse. Although somebody tells me all the time, every time I say something to Jacksonville and the Jaguars can't be worse, somebody's like, it can always be worse. I don't think so. 9 turnovers, 32nd in the league in a bunch of categories. Like, can it really be worse? And then obviously Trevor. I mean, Trevor coming back has to be better than what you got out of that position in your offense. And then I just do think like the Murphy's Law of it. I mean, they're not going to lose 10 one-score games. It hadn't happened in 50 years. Right. So they're not going to do it. All right, Wyatt Milum. Let's get to him. And he was part of the scrum at the end of the rookie minicamp practice on Saturday. Just haven't got to it yet, so here's a couple minutes with the young man out of West Virginia.
We haven't gotten a chance to really meet the offensive line coaching staff. Give us a little bit of intel on the personalities you're working with.
Coach Sean, he's a great O-line coach. He brings energy. The room, how they work that room, when like they're teaching us stuff, they make sure we know it before we go out here. I love playing for him already. I can't wait to play for him down the road.
How different is a college practice to an NFL practice?
Well, right now, I'm sure it's going to get different more like towards training camp. But right now, it's just more like you got to walk through your learning in the beginning, and then you come out here, and then you just go through it a little more tempo. But it's just a learning process right now. But it ain't too bad right now.
You talked about getting adjusted to being in a huddle, lining up in the right spot, the longer cadence. And you said it's surprising how many people have not been in a huddle for a while. Where do you fall in that spectrum?
We was more of a tempo team in college, so we didn't huddle all the time. Like there were some games that we did, but just the cadence is a big thing. It's a lot different from what we use in college, so just getting used to that. But the huddle thing, I did it since I was like youth league, but like high school I'd huddled. College is the only place I really haven't huddled that much, but NFL, like the huddle has no problem. It's just the cadence. It's just a little different.
Do you know Jonah at all before you got here?
Yeah, so I played with Jonah at the Senior Bowl. So it's awesome. Like when I seen that we drafted him, I was excited for him to be able to come here, especially because I played beside him in the Senior Bowl too.
A lot of Senior Bowl guys, so kind of a little reunion of sorts, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, so like it was good to come here and know somebody. So and I worked beside him. I played left guard at Senior Bowl too. So we already had a little bit of connection. So I can't wait to in the future work with him as well.
How has it been meeting the huge rookie class that you've had?
I think everyone that's came here, they love the game of football. I feel like they all came in here and worked the past couple of days. They brought energy, and I'm just happy to be with all the rookies here. I'm just happy to be a part of them.
What's it like seeing Travis Hunter on a football field that you're out? Do you have the same?
Yeah. He's a special athlete. He's a really good ball player. I can't wait to, as the season goes on, and as training camp, OTAs, and all that stuff goes on, I can't wait to keep working with him.
That's Wyatt Milum from Saturday, and we will continue to watch him and how much he factors in along the way. So, Sawyer, no stream on Twitch? What the heck happened, Hamby?
Yeah, we had a big error trying to fire it up this morning.
Really? Twitch doesn't usually give us a problem.
Mm-mm.
Sawyer might be the only person that watches on Twitch. It's not a big audience on Twitch.
No, it's, yeah. I'm glad he's transitioned to YouTube. I wonder if it's a better viewing experience or if it's the same.
Yeah, some people do. Like, we've always had, like, a couple of people that actually do watch on Twitch on that platform. But it's like, one, we don't push a lot. We're just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
Although we thought in the early stages, I will say, like, hey, this might be a decent play. And then I think I saw a station out of Chicago. It was like ESPN out of Chicago. They really put a lot into Twitch and pushed it and did a pretty good job building an audience there. So I think, like, if you want to, you can build the audience there, but it's easier on Twitter and YouTube and everywhere else. So it's pretty interesting, though, that we do it. Yeah, I'm all good with you, Sawyer. We appreciate you listening wherever you listen. I like it. On Twitch, that's great. So hopefully we'll get that fixed for you. Hamby. I'm reading Hamby's face. Like, this definitely feels like a Hamby issue more than it does a Twitch problem.
No, it was a Twitch error.
Oh, it was a Twitch error. Okay.
This one was.
Yesterday we couldn't get YouTube comments. We were just getting Twitter comments.
Okay.
That's a new challenge every day, folks. No different than your world. Good morning, Steve. Would you just wake up? It's 11:30, dude. It's still good morning.
He's locked in last night on the NBA playoffs, maybe.
NHL playoffs I was watching last night. Celtics, Knicks. Maybe we'll talk with Austen a little bit about that when he comes. I can't believe. Well, now the Jayson Tatum stuff, right? Not good. Not good on that front. Hey, we got a little bit more sound from Liam, so let's run through some of that. You got him on camp, right? Just the overall thoughts on minicamp?
Yeah, and he was talking about that and talking a lot about Travis Hunter, just the first time kind of getting him out there and what the usage could be going into this week.
Yeah, it's been good to get out here. I mean, really just having them in the building. It's a new couple days for everybody, right? Just where they go, where's this meeting room, where is this located? I mean, that all starts to creep in. It's like being a freshman in high school all over again for a lot of these guys. And but the energy's been good. You know, the guys, I heard we're doing walkthroughs at the hotel the night before, and hopefully some of the leadership out of these guys will continue to rise. But the energy was good for the last 2 days.
I know it's early, but is Travis Hunter as advertised?
I would assume, just ran a route yesterday where his shoe came off and didn't quite affect him, made a great catch, and it's more just his presence, right, and the energy that he does provide, both in the classroom, in the meeting rooms, and also out here on the field. So really hard to tell in this kind of setting, though.
We've seen him we
saw him get some extra work after practice or during practice. Just how important is that going to be?
Yeah.
Just working with Edgar
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah, building camaraderie between the two of those guys is going to be really important. The amount of time that they're obviously being able to spend during this time has been really beneficial. And at the end of the day, it's about relationships. So for him to be able to get relationships with all the coaches, right? But specifically the extra time, and he's the type of guy that puts it in on his own when he is away from the building. And so the more he can do and continue to do that will only benefit us moving forward.
Does he already have sort of a feel for the defensive stuff?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gotten
That's right.
into the playbook.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been able to dive in and learn some of our three-deep coverages. What do we call our three-deep coverages on the outside? If he has to be manned up on the backside of a 3-by-1, he knows all those calls already. So at the end of the day, it's going to be about, on the defensive side of the ball, communication, right? The technique and fundamentals we will continue to harp on, but it's really about being on the same page as the rest of the guys in the back end from a communication standpoint, and the rest will kind of take care of itself.
That is Liam Cohen over the weekend, and talking about not just Travis Hunter, but everything else going on. I do like this about the Travis Hunter stuff. he kind of had the same thing with Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know if he was chuckling a little bit there because, like, well, what are we going to tell in 2 days? Or it's like, now the dude, like, you can see these guys pop. Like, you can tell, right? But just the way they move, how good they are. So I've got a little bit of a question, and we bring in Austen Lane from down at South Florida as well, and he can jump right in on this. We were talking James Gladstone a little bit earlier. Austin, he's got a vibe to him, and people seem to really enjoy watching even a little 5-second clip of Gladstone. Do we have a feel yet for Liam Cohen and how he's doing as a first-year head coach? Or is that going to take a first-time head coach? Is that going to take quite a while to be able to have a feel for that here in Jacksonville?
I think it's going to take a while to really have a feel for that. You know, with James Gladstone, like, listen, I think in terms of the James Gladstone stock, it's never been higher. And that's due to the draft. That's due to the sound bites, what we see on video. But let's be honest, now it's time for Liam Cohen, just because, you know, now starts the football process. Like the off the field stuff, the roster construction, that's all been completed. And now it's time for Liam Cohen to kind of take over and make a name for himself. It's the NFL. It's the performance-based business. So we can sit here and break down press conferences, and that's great. You know, it gets fans excited. But until we see it on the field in meaningful games, we're not going to really know what exactly Liam Cohen's going to bring to the table.
I'll take a little bit more of a negative approach on this, and I'm a Cohen fan, by the way, but I'm going to do this at least just for the sake of conversation and say, and because I've heard this, I think people are curious how he'll be. I think there's a bit of an unknown. Right now, you're getting a look. We've got some evidence of Baselli and even Gladstone. Like, okay, I can see the way they operate, kind of like some of the things they're doing, some of the subtle things they're doing, maybe not everything that's even out in the public, like we get a feel for. I don't think everybody has that yet on Cohen, and almost feel like there's a level of, if he's the guy, right, or if he can coach, or if he can handle this, they're going to be all right. It's almost like of the triumvirate there, he's the curiosity piece of getting it right. Take like a receiver, a running back, and a quarterback. There's going to be one in there like, well, if this guy does his job. I feel like Cohen is the if this guy can get it done, Jags are going to be all right now.
No, without a doubt. I mean, he really is the key cog in all of this, I think, because it's going to fall on him when it doesn't go right for a little bit. And let's be honest, Brent, like we'll see the schedule tomorrow, how it breaks down and everything. You might get a rough patch of some hard games that maybe you lose 2, maybe you lose 3 games in a row, right? And it's funny because, like, we think of James Gladstone, we don't think of, okay, well, he's got to respond to the losing, to the tough times, right? Like, no, you make your picks in the draft, you can trade up, get your guy, and you know, like we trust in that process. With Tony Baselli, like we don't really need Tony to respond to anything in terms of losing or adversity, just because like he's kind of there to, you know, set the point of what it means to be a Jaguar. The culture and everything, this falls on Liam Cohen. So I do think he's probably the most important piece because, like I just said, like there's going to be a time where it doesn't go right. Now, whether that's in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, or the end of the season, it's not going to go right for a bit. And maybe we'll start questioning, like, well, what are they doing here? What are they doing there? It's going to be on Liam Cohen to go, hey, let me go ahead and right this wrong here. Let me go ahead and right this ship, and we're going to be okay.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Coach Ripley brings up, I love that Cohen gives the nuances of what communication is when coming to sideline or an execution against coverages. Like, he's not afraid to talk ball in front of the mic. And you obviously don't get in this position if you don't know ball. But it is something I've caught too, Coach Ripley, that I kind of find it fun when he's talking ball and willing to go into that detail or that depth about it, because I don't think that's a thing that coaches normally do for whatever reason. I don't think you really heard Doug Peterson, who I think really knows ball and knows offense and stuff. He wasn't diving into it like that. So it is fun. It's just something that captures my attention. That and again, because I'm not an X's and O's guy, but I like when he starts talking ball, Austin. I think like that's the thing about this guy that you're hanging your hat on is he might not be the lock yourself in a room like Ben Johnson kind of geeked out over the play call sheet, but there is something that like really gets this guy going, calling plays and also helping quarterbacks. Like that's his MO. Is obviously calling plays, but going all the way back to the early days before he was a play caller, was helping quarterbacks from Brown University to Rhode Island to Maine to Tampa. It's helping quarterbacks. So I kind of like when he goes into that detail of it because that's kind of my impression of him. He's a bit of a ball knower, and so when he goes into those nuances of it, I kind of like it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because this is where we talk about coaching trees a little bit. Like, if you look at the Andy Reid coaching tree, which, you know, Andy Reid is one of the brilliant minds of the NFL, but you look at all the guys underneath him that came from that Andy Reid coaching tree, and even Andy Reid himself, like, they don't necessarily break down ball in press conferences. You know, it's a little more just reserved, quiet, and I don't want to say like lack enthusiasm, but it's more of just kind of, you know, matter of fact like. I think if you look at like the Gruden coaching tree and you look at like, you know, Sean McVay and what he's been able to produce, those guys love getting in front of the camera and almost like showing off their football IQ, right? Almost like, I don't want to say it's like braggadocious or anything, but it's almost like, hey, I don't care whether the other teams are watching this or not. Like, I'm that confident in my play calling abilities. I'm that confident in lining up offenses that it doesn't really matter. And that to me is what you get with like a Sean McVay coaching tree. And, you know, Liam Cohen has some experience around that. So to me, it makes perfect sense.
It's a great call. That's a really cool call. Like I knew where you were going right when you mentioned it. I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like I have these instances of, again, Gruden in different aspects, but really McVay, I have these sound bites in my head or conversations in my head when I've seen him, and I don't seek out McVay stuff, but things that will pop up, him talking ball. Obviously, what comes to mind is he's got a great memory, right? And so people ask McVay about a play like from 8 years ago, and he can dial up the call and see whatever. But there is something to that. Like, and you're right about Reid, who, again, Peterson will say he's the smartest guy who's ever been around. Like, he's a genius offensively, but he doesn't ever take you in that deep. I'm sure there are some film room things that Kansas City's done or whatever that probably takes you inside a little bit, but not in a normal interview setting, to your point. So, there are a couple things there. I don't necessarily think, I think you're right. I don't think this is an ego thing. Like, watch, I'm going to show you how much I know. I just think they talk ball so much that it's just part of their normal vocabulary to actually, you can see him in the hallway and he's going to probably talk ball and mention this guy running this route and everything else, you know, on the field. I just think they kind of live it and breathe it and always want to talk about it at this stage. We'll see if that evolves a bit as him as the head coach.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm very curious to see what that's going to look like, right? Because, you know, as a coordinator, it's one thing, Brent, right? And as a coordinator, because, you know, he comes from Tampa, and that was more like Vance Joseph, right? That's who the coach was at the time. And like Vance being a defensive guy kind of seemed a little more of like the raw expectations put up before you type of dude. So like when you're the coordinator, offensive coordinator in that situation, I mean, life is gravy, right? Because all you got to do is, all right, I just got to hit this box right here, check this play, we're good to go. Baker Mayfield get the best out of you, and I'll let, Coach Joseph take care of, like all like the housekeeping stuff where, getting guys up ready to play. Well, now with Liam Cohen, he's been thrust into a role where, yes, we still need your football prowess. We still need that football IQ that we saw in Tampa Bay, but now we're probably going to need a little extra motivation or anything because, well, the team didn't do that well last year. We have a lot of new faces, and we kind of have to get them all on the same page. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see how Liam Cohen's going to handle this whole thing. Is it going to be Sean McVay-esque? Is it going to be more of like the rah-rah type? And I feel like that's going to probably transition the more as he goes along, right? Like he's still learning his environment, learning his position as well.
Yeah, I think you're talking Todd Bowles. I think you mentioned Tampa.
Yeah, not Vance where's Vance Joseph? Who's the thing of Vance Joseph?
Is he in Denver?
Denver. Wait,
Denver, that's right. Yeah, Todd Bowles. My bad.
No, that's all right. I was like, wait a minute. Is he taking me way back? Did I hear him right? Hey, Andy Cray, shout out to you, Jags and Rams this year. It's official, Austin. The Jags and the Rams will play in London. We talked a little bit about the early part of the show, where, while that's not a huge story, I think it's been out for the last week. Somebody leaked it out there. It is what it is. I think the bigger story that we kind of got into, it's going to be interesting to see how this schedule, and you just referenced it too, how they navigate this schedule with all the West Coast stuff and where that comes into play, where their bye week comes into play, where's the tough stretch. Like usually you can identify the tough stretch. So there is a fascinating part of the schedule. I know we have fun with it, but I actually believe that there takes a little bit of luck in the schedule making to kind of navigate and have a good season and maybe make it to the postseason. I think now good teams can navigate anything. But I think when you're like a borderline team, like you're not sure how good you are, I actually think what comes out tomorrow has some significance to it in terms of maybe giving you a break here or there or not getting one. That could be the difference whether you make the postseason or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at a few key things. One is, how do you start your season off? Right? What is the first quarter? What does the first 4 games look like for the Jaguars? Right? Like if it's up to me and I get people, kind of varying opinions. I mean, I would like to see them start in a little bit of an easier schedule just so they can kind of find their footing a little bit. Their coaches can gain a little confidence. So I wouldn't mind seeing the easier schedule up front. Let them play together, let them learn from each other. Then by the time we're in the middle of the season, towards the end of the season, maybe it's a little bit more of a murderer's row, but that's okay because they built up some momentum. So I'll be looking for that. And then also be looking for when is the bye going to be, right? And I'm not saying like one, early or later is better, but I think for this team, depending on when that London game is going to be, do we know, Brent? Is it week 7, week 8?
It's week 7, and we really think because it's week 7, Austin, that you'll probably get the bye week right after. Doug had pushed that back, but they had played in London earlier. So I'm guessing, it's total guess, that they'll probably have London, then a bye week, and then probably an away game because the next week would be Florida-Georgia game in Jacksonville.
Which I wouldn't be mad at, if you want to stick that by towards the middle of the year. I'm really not that mad at it at all. Like the last thing I want to see, and once again, assuming it's going to be after that London game, cool. But I don't want to see them get an early bye. I would much rather have them get, rest and everything towards the end of the year.
The October date, by the way, Coach Ripley, is the 19th. Bye week should always be after London, says Andy. And I think someone else, sorry, I didn't see who it was, mentioned that they had a gauntlet at the beginning of last year, and they did. That was a tough part of the schedule last year, remember? And they went 0-4. No, 0-4? Did they go 0-4?
Yeah.
Yeah, 0-4. And we knew it was going to be hard, right? Yeah, because 0-4, that's when Doug got mad at me. Houston.
Well, yeah, and it should have been 1-3 because they should have beat Miami and it just kind of went downhill from there.
We really do. You do wonder. They play a crazy part about that whole stretch, right? As you go back, man, that first half against Miami, they played great. I don't think they went 1-3, Rip. I think they were 0-4. They were 0-4, right?
100%.
Yeah, because they went to who'd they play the first game in London? They got the win, and then they were 1-5 after Chicago after they lost.
They played the Pats in London, right?
So they beat the Patriots. So they got 1-4, and then they lost to Chicago 1-5. Yeah, that's what they were. So yeah, season was over. basically at 1-5. Like, so, the Jags have had some interesting stuff, right? Like in 18, they went 3-1 at the beginning of the year. In 23, I don't know if it was 3-1 or 2-2, but they obviously got off to a pretty nice start by going 8-3 on the year. I think they actually got off to a slow start and then won 5 in a row. So they might have lost their first 2 games. They were 1-2, and then they won 5 in a row when they started to go over London in 23. So is it more important for them in this time where the Jags are right now, Austen, for them to get off to a better start? Or is it more important to you that as long as they're in the mix, they can figure out how to navigate the latter part of the season, like late November, early December, where they've also had some hiccups and haven't been able to figure that out? Like, where's the most critical time without even knowing what the games look like?
I think with the new coaching staff, with a pretty big roster turnover in terms of new faces and everything, I think the more you can get off to a hot start to start your season off, the better for your team. Because then that almost like it reaffirms the confidence that, hey, we are doing things the right way. Like, this is different. And it does it one of two ways. It does it from the younger perspective, or the rookies or the free agents that came in there. And it's like, okay, like, this is what we expected it to be. We've come from winning programs, whether it's college or it's the NFL. And yeah, this feels right. And then when you have the veterans like a Josh Hines Allen, like a Trayvon Walker, like a Trevor Lawrence, who can get off to a hot start as well, then it's like, well, damn, this whole thing now with Liam Cohen and these new coaches and Campanelli and everybody, it feels kind of different. And then they buy in. So that's the biggest thing, Brendan, is getting everyone to buy in, getting everyone to be on the same page. And you do that by winning off the get-go.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and look, and I'm not going to do it right now. I'm thinking first-year coaches and how they did, right? Obviously, at least in more recent. Malarkey obviously struggled because they only won 2 games. You guys won 2 games the whole year. Gus struggled big time. They lost historically bad. They were 0-8 at one time. And then they actually won 4 out of 5, which I still think is one of the great coaching jobs ever done in those 5 weeks, because their team was not good. In 17, I forget the start of the year. I'm going to have to go back and look that up in 17. But my guess is they were probably like 2-2 under Marone and Coughlin. And then, I know. They beat Houston in 17. And then they lost to Tennessee. And then they thumped Baltimore in London. And I don't remember what they did in week 4. So they were either 2-2 or 3-1. 2021 with Urban, obviously not off to a good start because they only won 2 games and Urban's 13. And then 22, they got off to a slow start as well under Doug. So if you really, I think the only time in recent memory,
started 3-2 in 2022. No, they didn't. I'm sorry. They started 2-3.
They started 2-3.
2-1. They won their first 2 out of the 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they lost to the Commanders, then beat Indy, and then beat the Chargers.
And then they lost 5 in a row in October.
Yeah.
Okay. So because they got to 3-7 at one time, like at the bye week. So I knew but they got off to actually 2-1 start with Doug. Mm-hmm. All right, that's significant. So 2-1 start with Marone, 2-1 start with Doug, and the Marone, they both ended up in the playoffs. Took 2 different paths to get there, but they both ended up in the playoffs. So that start does tell me that that's pretty significant. I'm going to give you one other reason why this is real significant. And we could say Liam Cohen, we could say everybody wants to get off to a good start for all the obvious reasons. But Austen, I think maybe the biggest one is for Trevor. I think you have got to find early confidence for Trevor, whether that's in his offensive line, whether that's in the play calling, whether that's in Liam Cohen, whether that's in Hunter and BTJ, whether that's in himself. I don't know what it needs to be, but I want Trevor feeling really good, because when Trevor feels good, he plays really good. He's a great front runner, in my opinion. Like he really can get it rolling. And I think he's taking some shots now. He's taking shots from not playing well. He's taking shots from being injured. I think this may be the most important reason why you need to play well early is for Trevor Lawrence to feel the way he wants to feel.
No, I completely agree, because when we talk about this offseason, when you talk about that draft, it was all for Trevor Lawrence. At least a majority of it was for Trevor Lawrence. And, you know, without running the risk of being too cliche, this is going to be the biggest year of Trevor's career, because I think now is where we find out of what type of player he really is. And no, I'm not saying he's got to go out there. I'm not saying we have to do Hamby's exercise of, you know, ranking all the quarterbacks. He's got to finish top 5.
We do need to do that before the season.
Oh, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. For all the scrutiny that I got last year, you know, Geno Smith ahead, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins outside the top 10. I can't wait to see what we bring to the table this year. But at the end of the day, Brett, like, eventually there's going to be a time where we can't have any more excuses for him. Where it can't be the coaching was bad. It can't be the play calling was bad. It can't be you don't have any weapons. It can't be the running game wasn't, you know, up to standard. It can't be, you know, the drop balls. Eventually we got to sit here and say, okay, is he the guy or not? And I think you've built the team now where he doesn't have to be the top 5 guy. You just got to go out there. And I don't want to call him a game manager either, because I hate how, you know, we say game manager, and that's so disrespectful, I feel like, to quarterbacks. Because I do feel like Trevor has the ability to win you football games. But I think if you mix that run game like they're supposed to do, if you mix hopefully some better offensive line play, you add Travis Hunter to the mix now as well, like, this should be the year we can finally see, hey, yeah, there's the Trevor Lawrence that we've been waiting for. Got out of the gate to a rough start, much not to even his fault, just the way that it was, and now he's finally arrived.
Yeah, Daniel Kilkenny says, how excited do you think the NFC West is having the AFC South on their schedule? San Fran has the, quote, easiest schedule. I think that might be the best accolade for the AFC South to be better than people think. Because usually when you think you have the easiest schedule or something like that, a division ends up being totally different. Like, my guess is because people think the AFC South is going to be the worst division, and I get why they do. I guarantee you they aren't. That's just the way the NFL works. Like, somebody else is going to be worse. Now, maybe it's the NFC South or maybe it's the AFC West, quite frank. I'm sorry, the NFC West. Could be that. So we'll see. Hey, let's take a time out here on the show. Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Want to get your thoughts on Tatum and the injury and a couple things going on, NBA, NHL. We'll also have some more football talk still on the way up until 1 o'clock here on the Brent and Austen Show. Hey, reminder, get down to Best Bet and, any of the locations, but Best Bet Jax, 3 hands to go. They have a fun thing going on right now at Best Bet, $30,000 race to a race. And you can read all about it, bestbetjax.com. It would take me too long to explain, but it's really fun and a way to win if you go hang out at Best Bet Jax. Go check out bestbetjax.com and check out the other locations in Orange Park and St. Augustine as well.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jax 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
Action-packed. Weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks. I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
Grab some friends and go to a restaurant or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet. Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table. Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always go home a winner. Try any of the 3 locations, and you can always visit bestbetjacks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Oh, look at this guy. That was Carlos Witherup from Oakleaf. He was best dressed last night, in my opinion, but maybe we'll put a vote out there as the Clay County Athletic Awards were last night out in Orange Park, and Liv and I had a chance to do a little red carpet. That was fun. We just tried it, something new on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Look at the crowd. Like, the kids love these events. I remember having to go to like these kind of events as a kid, and you get like that banquet chicken meal and stuff, and you're like, gosh, I hope I don't have to come back here again. Now they don't do the banquet chicken meal smart, and they have like this like big party like you're at the ESPYs, man. And I've been told, Austen, the kids absolutely love like this night. That now, like, you can't take it away from them. This is like the night they look forward to almost more than prom now.
No, I mean, literally that picture right there looks like, I'm sure, half of Hamby's wedding. So it's going to be great, man, to kind of see how it compares and everything with the people there. But no, listen, man, anytime that you can celebrate your achievements, more power to you, man. So that's really cool. You know, I mean, I got to play like in a Wisconsin All-Star showcase for football, and there was kind of like a banquet and things like that. And then it's something that I still hold very dearly to me this day. So yeah, I think anytime Brent can get out there and, you know, showcase some great high schoolers, why not?
Yeah, I was, there were a couple of events that are cool over the weekend for me. Like Camden County had their first ever Athletics Hall of Fame, and they've got a rich history there. Stump Mitchell was part of that. 1960 football state championship team, track and field 85 state championship team. Mr. Wildcat was part of that class as well. And then Jeff Herron, one of the really good coaches. Only Georgia coach to win 3 state championships at 3 different schools. He won 3 alone at Camden County. So that was pretty neat because you just learning a lot about the history up there in Camden County, Georgia, about some of the athletics. And then last night, there were over 300 athletes invited to that. If you made all county in any sport, you get invited to that. And then they give out some different awards as well. But it's really just about getting the schools together out in Clay County. I think Duval did one last night with the Gateway Conference. And I was just talking to Hamby. I was like, man, I'm a little surprised more, even St. John's County. I don't think they have anything like this. So, but it takes a lot of work now. I will say that. It takes a lot of work. Takes a little bit of this to put together. And congrats to Jay Stillanu and everybody with Clay County for putting that on. And we looked forward to being there, and it was a lot of fun. You can go back and watch it on Twitter with all the kids that we interviewed, and also on YouTube as well. And we had it live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. A couple other programming notes, by the way. We have the Jacksonville Sharks and the Jacksonville Armada, 7 o'clock on Saturday night on the network. So we actually are going to move one of those to the Action News Jacks Now stream. So basically, you go to actionnewsjacks.com and you can find both. But you can flip back and forth between 2 events this Saturday night that we'll have here on our family of streaming networks. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, down in South Florida. Workout good today, by the way? Did you get the 285-pound Brazilian or what?
Yeah, man, of course I did. Yeah, so it was sparring today, sparring with big gloves. So, yeah, nose probably took a little hit.
It looks okay.
It stands in the way a little bit.
You've looked worse.
It's all right. It's a little... Oh yeah, and trust me, I felt worse as well. But no, got 5 hard rounds in today. With some guys I've never really sparred before, so definitely got some unique styles and everything. And yeah, Brent got better. Now I'm chilling in a parking lot by a Walgreens, and I guess I kind of take for granted being in South Florida that dude, there's like giant iguanas just chilling, like it's Jurassic Park. Like they're just, I'm talking like, you know, I can't really show it in the stream, but like I would say like as long as like my leg, like they're huge, and they're just hanging out here.
Yeah, they fall from trees when it gets cold down there.
That's what I heard, man. Like, and once again, like, you know, I've heard it. I just really haven't. I mean, I haven't been in a lot of parking lots just chilling where I've really seen them. But yeah, man, there's like 4 or 5 just hanging out where I'm like, I could probably like catch these bad boys and give them to a pet store and make a little money off them, but we'll let them be.
Yeah, it's pretty...
Austin, give us a look at the size.
Oh yeah, how big?
Huh?
How big are the iguanas?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I still can't really fit it in. We're talking like.
That's because your hands are
like
so big.
This with. Well, yeah, but like without the tail, we're talking this, and then you had the tail. I mean. We're talking like probably, if you include the tail, 2 $5 footlongs.
There we go. Okay. That's good. You know what's crazy about Florida is how different it is. Like you're right, 4 hours away, right? Because you'll see that, like you just won't see that up here. But you will see that down there. I mean, I know the weather can be a little bit different too, but like it does feel different in different parts of the state of Florida, where like that's totally unique to me. Or even like, you go to Wisconsin, does it feel different in parts of the state? Or does it feel like Wisconsin just about everywhere? Like I bet Ohio's a bigger state than Rhode Island. I feel like Ohio feels like Ohio.
Yeah, I would say in Wisconsin, it's going to feel the same. It's going to be really nice in the summertime, and then in the winter time, you know, better bring your second coat because it's going to be freezing.
Yeah. No doubt about it. All right, noon hour hits. Tofu, Killer Tofu, got to go. Hope you all have a great day. You too. And I wish he was still on because I'd like to know where he's going. Is he going to lunch? Does he have a meeting? Like what happens at 12? But appreciate him hanging out with us here on the Brent and Austin Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. You started to sound a little funky there, so I'm afraid to bring you back in, but we'll see how it sounds. The Celtics are going to lose to the Knicks now. That thing seems like it's over.
Yeah, you guys are sounding kind of funky too, Brent, so I'm gonna reset here.
Yeah. All right.
That was a new one.
Well, that was a different one. That was a little AI Austen, maybe, happening there. Andy said, I saw a squirrel this morning. That's about as wild as it gets over here. You don't have a lot of different wildlife in London or in England or in wherever I think you're in England. Yeah. So I guess I never thought about that. We do have a lot of unique animals, like depending on which part of the country you're in.
Yeah. I mean, just last week we had a bear.
Yeah, we had that.
We had a gator.
You're going to get gators.
Yeah.
People like when you get gators around here, too. Something about that. Love it. Steven, sounds like Darth Vader. Yes, it did for Austen Lane. All right, we'll talk a little hoops and a little hockey in just a moment. If you missed the news of the day as we hit the top of the hour, remember when we used to do noontime news? If you hit that, we got the Rams and the Jags on October 19th. It's kind of been a little bit of a storyline today, but we've mixed in that with what is going to happen with the schedule, how important is the schedule, and also a little bit of James Gladstone. Compared him to Theo Epstein, potentially. Ooh, don't shake your head, Casey. And also Liam Cohen. Do we know yet about Liam Cohen and what he's going to bring to the table? And I think the answer is really no. I think I'm not sure that we're going to know that a little bit more until August. I'm not sure we'll get a feel for Liam Cohen as the head coach of this football team until camp. Now, maybe it comes before that. We've got the next month to kind of be around it a little bit more and see him out on the practice field. But I think that part will be pretty interesting to see for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, Hamby, I want to make sure, let's use some of this before it gets too old. We've got a little more Cohen or no?
We got one more.
One more. Send it to us.
All right. We got, obviously, he's asked 50% of the time about Travis Hunter. But then he was also asked, how about some other guys that have potentially standing out? And he kind of took that and ran with it and talked about establishing the culture and specifically using this time of minicamp to do that.
I think Jack Kaiser, first and foremost, on the defensive side of the ball, just from a diligent standpoint, you could tell he's already has some of those leadership qualities that you look for. He's in really good physical shape coming into camp here this weekend. I think Caleb Ransaw as well stood out on the defensive secondary. Wyatt Milum did a nice job in the drills over the course of the last 2 days. And, really all these guys did a great job. We'll be able to go watch the tape from today. A lot of mistakes and things that did happen to occur yesterday, but that's part of it. But overall, really appreciate their energy and enthusiasm.
Liam, how about with the faces that you've already had with the veterans of this group right here? How important is it to set the tone for you,
Yeah.
the coach, what you're trying to get across? And is this a big time in terms of those meetings and messages?
Yeah, I think over the course of the last few weeks with the vets, we've been able to kind of install not only the playbooks, the schemes, the fundamentals, and the techniques, but also our culture and our modes of operation, the way that we want to communicate, the way that we end up wanting to play the game. And so we've now been able to have those same meetings with the rookies over the last 2 days. And so the goal is to be able to continue to catch them up on some of those, just the way we want to act, the way we want to talk, the way we want to communicate if maybe something comes up and how these things end up carrying out onto the grass. That's really been the main focus with the team meetings with the rookies. That was also the emphasis with the vets before we ended up breaking here for this weekend. So once we get back into Monday, these guys will be integrated and be rolling, and we'll have a lot more players in that meeting room.
Yeah, they will. And that part's already happened. I get on a little bit of a soapbox here for a moment. I think it would probably be a soapbox that it could lead to, and I don't want to get too far down the road. But he said something. He didn't say it actually in that soundbite, but he said something on Saturday that really resonated with me, and then I heard some other people talking about it, and it's really, it was the word relationship. And I was thinking of, he uses that word quite a bit, and I feel like this new Jags regime is using that word quite a bit. And if you, again, juxtapose that to the last regime, you wonder where some of those things were. Now, is that just because we don't know? I'm not sure. I am not trying to tell you that Doug didn't have a good relationship with players. I think he kind of did. He's a former player. He probably did. But I think from the outside looking in, we were a little unsure at times. Remember, there was that whole Trevor and Doug thing and the perception of it. And then you really wonder, like, I don't wonder how Trent had relationships with, like, the locker room. I mean, he was a guy helping them get paid. They were fine with him. But relationships in the building certainly were not great with everybody when it comes to Trent Baalke. And Hamby, my soapbox part of this is I've like, we talk a lot of youth sports with no gate fees and everything else. And I don't think this is as much at the high school level. I think this is really starting to happen at the collegiate level. And I don't know if it's all levels, if it's higher level, whatever it is. But it's pretty amazing that you'll hear NFL coaches like a Liam Cohen talk about relationships and how they matter with guys that are getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars. And yet the college game has become more transactional than the NFL and pro sports.
Sure.
Like on a year-to-year basis. And so I think one of the problems like college coaches are having right now navigating this, and not all of them, but I think one of the problems is when you become so transactional, you forget about the relationship part because you're just too busy making transactions. And you almost are afraid to grow those relationships because you know they're not going to be around or you think they're not going to be around. But obviously, like Hamby, you do a little bit of coaching. You like to win, you like to teach, but I really do think if you take it back to the root of playing sports or doing whatever, and from leadership people, like one of their favorite parts of doing that is the relationship. And again, all this is kind of coming in my mind because like even the Camden County thing I told you about, right? Like I'm seeing people 65 years later or 40 years later being on a state championship team and still talking about it. Right. And still communicating and just enjoying being around that and having those memories. I wonder if we're missing that, Hamby, in today's day and age. And I wonder if some coaches have missed that even from the professional level to the college coaches. And without that, I just don't know if you can be successful. Like, I think you have to be able to hammer that part home.
They have to. And it's almost, I think that's why that's going to be the best fit for the college GM that we've seen some coaches go with, because you hear Gladstone talk so much about the fit, right? And wanting, I mean, obviously he didn't do the 30 visits, but it sounded like they did extensive work to find out what kind of guys they're bringing in, right? And what type of guys are even just potentially on their draft board, because they want to know the relationship part of it, the personality, all of those things. Well, when the transfer portal window opens in college football and you've got 10 days to pretty much sign as many guys as you can and overhaul your roster, I'm just not sure how much of that's being done.
Yeah.
And even if it even really matters that much, because it has to be kind of go both ways, where the player, he's signing up for a 3 or 4 year deal in the NFL in hopes of playing all 3 or 4 years, most often than not. And in college, it's not even year by year. It's semester by semester.
Yeah. Coach Rip says college football is a 1-year contract. Money first, winning second, relationships last now. And I think that's that's a dangerous thing. That's my point. And I'm not sure it's just college football. I think it's college. Again, I think you could really link this to college baseball, because I think we know a lot of people and we've seen it, and we know that world better than even maybe the football world. And I also think there's a difference between sometimes we're talking Power 4 and everybody else. You got to remember, when it comes to football, there are 128 of them, and then in baseball and basketball, it's 350 of whatever it is. Like, not everybody's alike. We good with Austen? Oh, in a minute. Okay. So anyway, like I said, I could go on and on, but I don't want to go on and on about it. But I think it's interesting when I hear the coaches talk about it. It now resonates in my ears. It's not something they might have been talking about it for a long time, but now it gets a little bit more like my ears perked up. Like, oh, that's still important. Because there's another element of all this. Yeah, money's entered the fray at the biggest level. This is my point, Rip. Like, at the Power 4 level, okay, money's entered the fray, but not at the rest of them. So money, check it off the list. Okay, so where's winning now versus relationship? Winning's important. But relationships, and the reason why I think of relationships is because Liam Cohen just said in that, like, hey, these are the times right now we're building our culture. Well, relationships and culture go together, right? So where's the priority? Where's the, what I said to someone this weekend? I think you have to ask yourself, depending on what level you're at, depending on where you're at, depending on maybe even what sport you're playing, I don't know. You have to say, who are we? And listen, I've been preaching about this for the Jacksonville Jaguars to look in the mirror and say, who are we for a while?
Sure.
So it's not just a collegiate thing. It might be a high school thing. It might be your youth sports team you're coaching. I don't know. But it really feels like somewhere in this landscape of everybody trying to figure it out. And that's why college is so different now. So that like my mind goes to college, that lost in the trying to figure it out is asking, who are we and who we want to be realistically? And then also the relationship versus transactional part, which the system has just infiltrated. Hey, we got to be transactional. But I think the winners of all this are going to be the ones that were able to keep the relationships, still as a premium in part of it. So it's pretty interesting right now, I think, across all sports when it comes to that. And I think to kind of put it back to Cohen, I'm not sure you can build your culture in 2 weeks. It's just the start of your culture, and you start establishing those things, and then you've got to practice them again down the road. But I like that. I like when these guys say that now. I think you hear that. We talk about it with what Harbaugh says. Was Harbaugh saying this about his quarterback in San Francisco when he was the NFL? No. He learned that. Like, that's a learned thing from him, that even at this level, you've got to value pumping up your quarterback. I think one of the things like people don't like about relationships now is like they feel old, and this new generation, like, how the hell do we handle them? They don't really know what to do with them. And so there's like a distance there. But I think you're seeing the successful ones, even at the NFL level, be able to value that, practice that, and they still win that way, at least for now. We'll be back. Brent and Austen Show, the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. We take you until 1 o'clock. Don't forget, let's go fishing. Presented by Nimnick Buick GMC and Armor Guard Exterior. What's today, Tuesday? Yeah, we have Let's Go Fishing on Thursday, still a couple of days away. So, hey, you been out there? Been fishing? Today's a good day to fish. Send it sports@actionnewsjacks.com. Send us your best catches, and we want to highlight you on the show each week. Paul Dozier will visit on Thursday. We continue to grow this segment, have a lot of fun with our Let's Go Fishing segment each and every Thursday on the Brent and Austen Show at 11:30. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. And most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC, we are professional grade.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. from Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants.
We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter.
Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
It's been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Jayson Tatum. I wasn't watching the game, and at one time I saw the Celtics were up. I was like, we're going to have a series. It's going to be 2-2. And then I was watching the post game because I missed, the end, and I saw Brian Windhorst talking, and even Steph, she was listening, she's like, somebody die? That's what she thought. Windhorst was so. I was like, well, yeah, kind of that's a big injury for Jayson Tatum. No doubt about it. Austen Lane, we're going to try to make this work. How we doing? Nice job, Hamby. Nice job. Here's the deal. It sounds like he can hear me. So you can now go home, Austen. I don't think we're going to get it to go from the vehicle.
What?
Now we can bring up Casey, please, because Casey was ready to go. Casey, you've got to do the show now like this.
I was ready.
We were giving it a go.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, man.
You worked so hard. You had a good plan.
What a letdown.
Yeah, I know it.
Austen, you bum.
Now, I could bat. Now, listen, if you want to go, Hamby and I could battle, and you just be the judge and the jury.
Yeah, that is kind of the job description, huh?
Yeah. So
I mean,
we can do it.
We could do that. Hamby, are you in for that?
I'm not ready to give up. I need him to try one last time.
Keep fighting, Doug.
Keep fighting. Keep battling.
I just need him to hop out and hop back in because his levels disappeared.
Hop out and in, dog.
Just hit exit and get back in.
But until then, I'm willing to battle if I need to battle.
All right. Well, we can wait to see if that gives a try because I've got a couple other things on the menu. One is I want to tell it why all of a sudden am I getting I definitely get some of these junky tweets from I think they're from everything's got to do with money. So it's these latest ones are the trading strategy is this or sometimes it's crypto, right? People that are jumping in. I'm getting these nonstop, every third tweet. It feels like I'm getting them. Why am I getting this influx of these?
Let me see.
I hit a certain amount of followers, and you get more. What's the algorithm?
Nicole Nerns is all over you, bro.
Yeah, Wanda Winbush.
Nice.
I don't even know if I should say these names because then I just get. But it's
oh yeah, Wanda's all in there.
I'm inundated with these bots right now. How do I get rid of them?
It is kind of your thing, though. Are you still into crypto? Is that still?
I like the crypto stuff a bit, but
maybe you should hit Wanda
but
up.
not enough to be looking it up where I would attract these people. I don't do that stuff on social. All right, Austen, I think we're going to try this again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah?
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Sounds good.
Why is it that whenever we talk NBA with Hamby, the audio just goes to hell? And I'm at a new screen I've never seen before. Brent, listen, I don't want to point any fingers or anything. I don't want to, have a mutiny here. But something's afoot. Because yesterday, everything was fine. We're talking NBA. We're all gravy. Brent mentions Jayson Tatum. And cool.
That was on cue. That was really good.
I wish I was that good.
You wish you were that good, says Hamby. You might. Hey, we're going to get a good test of this, by the way, Austen, because Hamby's in tomorrow, and then he's gone for he's not back until June. So, by then, the playoffs will be over in the NBA. We won't be talking about him.
No, for sure. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Keep it up. Keep disrespecting my NBA prowess because I can take that to another show, no problem. So it's all good. You guys can keep playing your games if you want.
You can't talk about that on Jaguars Happy Hour.
Oh, hey, Brent, I was doing power rankings. I can do whatever I want.
Well, so can we. Hey, by the way, you still sound like crap, so we're going to let you go on your day. We'll figure it out tomorrow.
I know he's got the wig. I'm trying to get on this thing.
Look. We'll save it for Friday, maybe when you're back in studio. We tried.
Or one of those two.
Yeah, and Hamby won't be in for that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Maybe it'll work better tomorrow. Poor part of the parking lot.
Wild.
I love looking at Casey right now. Just really enjoying it.
Yeah, Rip says, poor Aussie, he gets punched in the face for money and technology doesn't like him. I know you think when you put in a work like that, everything would work out. What we never understand about this is how it works for 20 minutes and then it doesn't. That's the goofy thing. And I don't really think it's on our end, though. I just don't think it's on our end. Because we usually have very good luck with the thing that we're using most of the time. All right, Judge. So now Hamby enters the fray. Can't wait to hear him talk about the NBA.
This is going to be rough because two of these are NBA.
That's fine.
And one of these,
make them work.
One of these, I think there's a chance that neither of you even know who this human is. The one that has nothing to do with sports. That was, geared toward Austen. So this might be a mess, but we can try it.
Let's try it.
All right. So yeah, we're doing casual Judge today. I'm just sitting here. We don't have to all rise,
Good.
Casual, if you will. It's not Friday, but we'll call it Casual Tuesday.
By the way, even if you're producing the show in the booth, you can do it from there.
First off, it's already 1,000 degrees in there.
Oh, is it?
Really?
Yeah, really.
I'm cold back here.
You suck. All right, we're just moving on.
All right, here we go.
All right, so here's the deal. I got 4 of them. 2 of them are NBA. Good luck, fellas. The first one, though, has to do with the Eastern. conference, if you will. Pacers, Knicks, both up 3-1. You saw Jayson Tatum down, probably not coming back. My question is this, and I'll start with Hamby since NBA,
he's the newcomer. Let him.
He can take
pick.
either side. The NBA champion will or will not come out of the East.
Okay.
That would be.
I got you.
Okay,
I'm good.
He starts talking about the Timberwolves.
No, it's like the Montreal Canadiens don't play in the Eastern Conference in the NBA.
Here we go.
All right. The NBA champion will be coming out of the East. You're getting hot at the right time. You got the Knicks that are hot, and they're upsetting the Celtics. You got the Pacers that are hot. They're upsetting the Cavs. I don't know if I can really say the same thing for the Timberwolves. Yes, they're up, but are they up just because Steph Curry is out? How much does that really mean that they're playing well? The Thunder and the Nuggets, the Thunder might be the only caveat here, but when a team is hot, you really don't want to be in their way. And the team that goes, if we get a Knicks versus Pacers conference finals, matter of fact, that the team that comes out of that is the hottest team in the NBA, and nobody's going to be playing better than them, and that is more dangerous than a 1 seed at any point. So give me the Knicks or give me the Pacers, doesn't matter which one, but they will be the reigning champion in the NBA.
I like it. Brent?
Yeah, I think it's all about the West, really, because if you take some of those teams, obviously Indiana outperforming right now. Cleveland, you can't even factor them in. But the Knicks, I just think they will turn back into the Knicks. They feel a little Cinderella-ish to me, and we know the Knicks disappoint at the end of the day. A lot of those New York teams do. And meanwhile, on the other side of things, you've got pedigree, right? You got the MVP again, most likely, with the Nuggets. I think the Thunder, who have carried themselves as the best team, and most people don't think they can win this time of year, are proving people wrong. They can play this time of year, and they can win this time of year. And then there's one other caveat here, that if Minnesota does make it out of the West, I think with Edwards playing the way he's playing, you've got the guy. I do like that about the Knicks, that they've got Brunson, but I think Minnesota also has that guy that can carry you, be clutch, and win it. So the West will be won in the NBA in 2025.
Solid points all the way around. I'm going to give Hamby some love, though, for talking basketball and actually sounding somewhat coherent about it. So
Maybe.
We're going to go with Hamby.
Low bar, Hamby.
Low
bar.
Another NBA one coming, but we're going to go to baseball here.
Oh, good.
Before that, Brent, you will start because I think Hamby will have a better sense of being able to rebut. I don't know if you've heard the Pittsburgh Pirates suck. Like, they are terrible at this.
Is this a new thing?
Collectively, they're terrible. Manager gone. We'll see you, Don Kelly, in charge now. But they do have a guy named Paul Skeens. Rumor is he's pretty decent. And the conversations have already started that there's no way they would sign him to a second deal, this and that. So my question is this. Just 2 years after they picked him number 1 overall, should the Pirates trade Paul Skeens this year and recoup a ton of players that can help them build an organization going forward? Brent, should they or should they not?
Wow, they could get a lot for him, but I'm going to say they should not. I don't think you should lose Paul Skeens yet. This obviously has the feel of what Tampa has done over the years, or even obviously what a team like Pittsburgh has done. But I think because you've tried this in the past, because you've been able to trade people away, and what you do when you trade people away is you boost your farm system, right? You get all these great young players, you get them on the cheap, and you never want to spend any money. Well, because their big plan is to never spend money, well, you're just going to do this again. So I think you milk everything you can out of Paul Skeens, who's the draw every time he pitches, who puts you on the map, who probably keeps you somewhat competitive in your clubhouse and everywhere else, even though you're not very competitive right now with 14 wins. I think right now you've got to get as much out of Paul Skeens as possible, and the later time to trade him is the window to trade him, not early time for the Pittsburgh Pirates, because, again, they're just going to spin the wheels here. They could go get another Paul Skeens, but they're never going to put it all together to do what, like, the San Diego Padres did or something, right? Build the farm, then go get the stars. They're not going to do it that way.
Andy?
The Pirates should absolutely trade Paul Skeens because his value is never greater than it is right now because of how much control a team could go and immediately sign him to, because he's not a Cy Young award winner yet, but because he's not 3 years in and has won 18 games per, there's still a lot of prospect to him that the Pirates could use to infuse and get even more talent than necessarily even what he's produced so far. Yes, they've spun the wheel before, but even going back to Garrett Cole, Paul Skeens is a better pitcher if they were to trade him now than Garrett Cole was in his day. They could get more for him. And look, if you're not going to be able to spend money, you can't just accept the fact that you have a Cy Young pitcher, caliber pitcher, and that's all you're going to have. If you don't trade him, then you might as well spin the wheel again, because that's the only shot you're going to have. So he's not doing any good there. They've got to give him away. Go ahead and give the winner Brent, because they should absolutely not trade him. It would be terrible. I also would like to point out props to their now new interim manager, because he had his second career game ever as a manager over the weekend against the Braves, and he got kicked out for calling balls and strikes like in the second inning on a ball that was obviously a ball. So I just wanted a hat tip to that, because that's real deal. Second ever game, and you're already getting tossed for balls and strikes.
All right.
There's a lot of confusion there.
I guess
it's hard to argue something you don't believe in.
I was like, oh boy, there's no shot they should ever trade him.
Oh, first off, they definitely should. And second off, I was listening for one main thing. If you would have said, and this is what I believe, he pitches 1 day versus you can get guys that play 7 days.
Yeah.
If you would have brought that up, I would have gave it to you immediately. Because that's what I believe.
That's a fair point.
But, and he could just blow out his arm tomorrow, by the way. All right, so I guess 1-1. Back, I guess.
The defense rests.
Back to the NBA. Hamby, you'll start here. I don't know if you guys saw this. I know you didn't talk about it, I'm sure. The Mavericks will get the number 1 pick in the NBA draft because of the lottery.
Yeah, crazy.
Debacle. And the question is the draft lottery in the NBA the worst system, if you will, in professional sports? And I will tell you, the worst team in the league has not had the number 1 pick since 2018 when the rule was changed. So, is it or is it not?
And the rule was changed to give more priority to the worst teams.
Correct.
Right?
It's
always been that way, but I think they try to beef it up even more.
But they brought in the teams that were mid and gave them more of a chance.
Yeah. So made that part more even.
Is it or is it not the worst system in sports, Hamby?
It definitely is the worst system in sports. It's not that hard. If you finish last, you go first, and you go according to how you finished in the regular season. It's really every other professional sport has pretty much gotten it down. They want to be weird about it, and they pay the price because, look, the teams that are bad, it takes a lot for them to get good, and you wonder why some of your brands like the Knicks have been bad for decades and can never get over the hump. Well, look, when they're picking 1 overall, or when they should be picking in the top 3, they're picking 5th or they're picking 8th, and it just takes a longer retool for some of these teams to get back in it. Right? The Cavs come to mind as the only team that has kind of done this successfully in recent in recent years, and that might be completely false considering I don't remember anybody who's picked. I couldn't name you a single first overall. Who was last year? The Spurs? They picked Victor?
2 years ago.
So that's how you do it right there when you're trying to argue in court.
Thanks, Judge.
But I just wanted to kind of address the humanity of my situation and say, even in spite of not knowing a single first overall pick other than Victor in the last probably 8 years, this is still a joke. We've got to fix it, and we've got to fix it now.
Well, I like the honesty and trying to pull on the heartstrings there. Brent, really not going to take much to take this one home, but what do you got?
Well, listen, he said the wrong system.
He said it is the worst system, yeah.
This is the best system for the way the NBA does it. Because you can actually argue, and some have, that you should be rewarded for having good seasons and not tanking for bad seasons. And so maybe those middle of the road teams are the ones that can elevate your league more. You get more parity instead of taking somebody that stinks or hasn't spent or whatever it might be it a little dysfunctional. You're trying to let them catch up to the top. Well, the gap's huge. Well, what if you take the 14th best team or the 15th best team, you elevate them? Well, now all of a sudden you start stacking that domino over a few years, and now you've got 3/4 of the league that are good and a couple of bottom feeders, which usually happens in sports anyway. The other big part about this is you do avoid that tanking problem. Even in the NFL, people wonder when you get toward the end of the season, are they really playing? What's ownership saying? Is there a conflict internally between the walls and the locker room of what you should do? Well, we already asked in the NBA about load management. Do these guys even play enough? Forget about if you want to bring in, are they losing or winning on purpose? What that could mean for the tail end of the season in some of these scenarios. So it absolutely right now is a safeguard to get more parity and also avoid that tanking problem in the NBA.
The best system.
I got to go Brent. I hate to say it, Hamby. I got to go Brent.
Why do you hate to say it so much for me to win?
Because I don't like you. Is that not crystal clear? Okay. Anyway. All right, Hamby, you need it.
I am legitimately paying the judge. And still can't win a debate.
That's fair. Hamby, you need it. But this one is going to be interesting for you two to discuss. Timothy Chalamet, you familiar?
I know him.
Brent?
I've heard of him.
Oh, God. Can
I look him up?
Yeah, absolutely. On a generation, yeah, you might want to too, Hamby. On a generational run right now, this comes to mind because he was courtside at the Knicks game last night with his girlfriend,
That's
Kylie
who that
Jenner.
was?
That is Timothy Chalamet.
Who was he with?
Kylie Jenner.
Yeah, that's right.
That's his girlfriend. They were courtside at the Knicks game, coming off of being Bob Dylan in that movie, coming off of starring in both of the Dune movies, Willy Wonka. Bro is in everything. Bro is on absolute fire. So I ask you this question. Has any person ever had a generational run like Timothy Chalamet is on right now? Business-wise, career-wise, relationship-wise. Has anyone ever been on a run like this ever? Yes or no? And I believe Brent will be the one starting.
I'm the first one, huh?
Oh, I think Hamby went first.
Did he just say thank God?
Yep. You got to think about it.
Gosh, this is hard, man. This one should have been like a homework assignment. We could have had a judge because it's a good question. It's a great question.
Generational run.
By the way, his shorts were terrible. They all fit so bad. But
I'd be careful.
You would not wear that, would you, Judge?
Probably not. But I mean, you know.
All right, here we go. This is tough.
Gross thinking.
Hey, real quick, who's the? Oh, I got it. All right. Hey, I think this dude is on a good run because I have heard of him. All right. So if I have heard of him, he's on a good run, but he's not on the greatest run.
No.
He is not even close to on the greatest run. There are other people that have certainly been on great runs. We could go from sports. I mean, Michael Jordan won 6 championships in like a 7 or 8 year stretch. Pretty damn good. Michael Jordan, good life, turned into a billionaire because of that. That's a good run. I don't know what kind of women he had, all those other things, but I guess not too bad. Derek Jeter?
That's a heck of a run.
Heck of a run. Stayed out of the back pages. Had a big-time run. Played for the Yankees. Shortstop. Won World Series. I mean, checked every box. Checked every box. I'm going to give you a recent run that might surprise you here, and I don't know his love life, but I tell you who's on a hell of a run right now, Shane Gillis. Heck of a run right now. I mean, is anybody doing better? From the beer commercials, I think it's Miller Lite, commercials, to Saturday Night Live.
I got you. I'm with you.
To also selling out arenas. I think this dude, because again, I've heard of him and I know the run that he's on. Shane Gillis is big as it gets right now in the entertainment world, and even bigger than Chalamet.
You're picking on Chalamet because he has a Gladstone type build, and I'm not going to stand for it. There's nobody who's on a better generational run than him. You look at his movie. Just Call Me by Your Name. I mean, everybody's in on that. And, you got Dune 1, you got even when, the guy takes 9 months to try and learn Bob Dylan's voice and mannerisms and pulls it off better than anybody that you could even name at the top of your head. And even if it didn't crush the box office, perhaps like you might thought, his paycheck is not really affected by that a whole lot. And how does he rebound? With Kylie Jenner, and by watching his favorite team go on their best run in decades. Name me a time the Knicks, I mean, who was it last night? Was it Mike Breen said it was their biggest playoff win in 25 years? That's pretty much how old Timothy Chalamet is. So to have this run, this is his favorite team. He has Kylie Jenner, of all people, right there. And oh, by the way, he's got Zendaya in the back pocket whenever he needs it. I'm winning this one just because I know who Zendaya wins. Thank you very much.
I've got a rebuttal, Judge. By the way, he's not even the biggest guy at the Garden now watching that game. First of all, Spike Lee will always take that cake. But you also have Stephon Diggs with Cardi B stealing more headlines than Chalamet.
There's no shot Diggs and Cardi B, two has-beens, are on any type of a floor as Kylie Jenner, still ascending, and Timothy Chalamet, definitely still ascending. Who's going to do more in their careers in the next 10 years? Diggs is done. Cardi B has been unheard of, and I don't even know what her career ever was. And Kylie Jenner is a billionaire with another billion to make, and Timothy Chalamet's got at least 15 more movies, and the Knicks are going to win the championship.
Cardi B's outfit or Chalamet's outfit?
I didn't see either.
Judge?
Yo, that was a generational run right there. There was names said that I didn't know you guys knew who Cardi B was. You took a shot at Stephon Diggs. That was cool. You brought up Shane Gillis. That was unbelievable. Oh, that was good.
Judge had a lot of head nodding going on there.
He did.
We surprised the judge.
I'm going to spell Timothy Chalamet for the win.
If you spell it correctly, you win.
You're looking at a computer
Oh, you're
screen?
looking at it.
No, I'm here.
Wait,
Timothe with an apostrophe, Chalamet.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it an apostrophe or what's that other thing
Oh,
called?
wait, it's
That's
not an apostrophe.
Technicality here.
Accento. One of these babies. Straight lines.
What are these babies?
I'll give it to you, Hamby. That was good. That was well done.
What are these babies?
That was well done. Really quality stuff right there.
You know who I thought you were going to go, actually, Brent? Was Travis Kelce.
Oh, it would have been good.
Is that where you were going to go?
Yeah, that'd
have been good.
That's where my mind was going because I couldn't really think of anybody else.
Yeah, that was good.
2 bowls and Dayton.
I actually didn't know where I was going either. That was the hardest part. I was like, okay, who
Where
can I
did
call
Shane
up?
Gillis come from?
Yeah,
It's a great poll.
Because I didn't want to go just sports. So I was like, I got to find somebody that's not sports. That's why, I mean, the Jeter, Jordan, whatever, that stuff's easy. But
Jeter was
But I do feel like Shane Gillis is on a hell of a run, right?
Yeah.
And it's been now for a while. Like, it's been it's like a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Definitely.
because again, if I know these guys, like, you're standing out.
Yeah.
And I've heard of Chalamet, but the only reason I've heard of Chalamet is because, did he wear something funky at, like, the Oscars or Grammys or something recently? Or people were talking about, for some reason I was watching that. Oh, we were in Vegas, and like my mom and my sister were watching like the pre-show for which one it was, like the Oscars.
Yeah.
And so I kept hearing his name. It's the only reason I
Well, he was he was supposed to win a bunch. He didn't win at all.
He didn't win. And was that because of the Dylan movie?
He was nominated for the Dylan movie,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you guys see that movie?
I did not.
Nope.
You didn't?
No, but Brent, nobody did it better. Nobody did it.
I think that'd be a fascinating one to watch.
Judge, I just want to make sure, is that one our last round in the books? That one's official?
That's done.
That's done.
Okay, I want to point out that I saw Dune 2.
Okay.
And about 20 minutes in, I realized I haven't seen Dune 1. And I thought I had.
So what's the name of it? Dune? D-U-N-E?
And none of it made any sense to me.
D-U-N-E.
My brother was like, yo, you want to go see Dune 2? And I was like, yeah, the first one was great.
What did you see then?
I guess I was thinking about like Mad Max or something, like big time deserts and like war in.
No.
And yeah, man, I was like 15 minutes in and they were talking all that blue crap. And I was like,
Go get some popcorn.
I'm out. I'm going to go get an icy.
Go get an icy.
First off, I respect greatly that you asked me that question. Just you made sure we were off the record.
I knew that would have lost me the round.
That would have absolutely killed it for sure. But I am. So you went to the movie theaters.
Yeah.
Under the impression you had seen the first one.
100%.
And you're thinking back, you're like, yeah, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya. I definitely saw a movie with those two in the desert.
I don't think I even really put a whole lot into. I guess didn't have anything going on that night, and it was a last second.
Is Zendaya a person or a movie?
Go to break.
Okay. Unfortunately, we have
what's the reference?
What do you mean? What's the reference?
What are you referencing? What's Zendaya?
A person.
Is that an actress? Actor?
Nah, it's a tree. Go to break. Hit the brake. Just straight away hit the brake button. Don't do any.
This ain't his show. He can't hit the brake. If you go to break in 5 minutes.
Hamby, if you're a real one, hit the brake button right now.
I can't. A lot of pressure on him. He's getting married in a couple of days, man. He's not taking shots from everybody or anybody.
Zendaya is an actress.
Actress?
Yep.
I should know that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
biggest going right now.
Spider-Man.
Biggest going.
Yes.
Yeah. Spider-Man, Dune.
She dates Spider-Man. She's in Spider-Man and she dates Spider-Man.
Tom Holland.
No.
Like younger, I'm assuming?
Probably, I mean.
Yeah, she
probably
didn't,
like
she
30?
didn't jump on the scene at 80 and started dating Spider-Man.
So like 30?
She was like huge on like Disney when I was a kid.
Yeah, she started on Disney Channel.
Oh, okay.
What was that show
So
called?
is she in
She's
like...
got 180 million followers on Instagram. That means, I think that's past the threshold that you should at least know who she is.
I probably should.
You're sitting in front of a computer, just type in Zendaya.
Yeah, I'm going to. But is that like...
Oh, no.
Is that...
28 years old.
Are we talking like Moana or something? Like what Disney?
What? It was a
Disney-
show.
like
she
what-
was on a show.
Oh, she was on a show, not a Disney movie.
No.
Shake It Up.
Shake It Up. That's what it was called. It was her and Bella Thorne. You know
Yes,
Bella
right.
Thorne?
Very good.
Yeah, I've actually heard of her.
What? Bro, the next question, you got to go very carefully with this one, that you know who Bella Thorne is and not Zendaya. Are you on OnlyFans, yes or no?
No, I'm not.
Confirmed, because you knew who Bella Thorne was real quick, and that's kind of her thing right now.
I'm looking at Zendaya, and I don't really...
Nothing.
Nothing.
You haven't recognized her from any commercial on television? Because she's in a few.
She in a lot of commercials?
I can't explain to you how famous she is.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty wild, though, huh?
Yeah.
I was doing so well until that moment
Yeah.
here on the show.
What a mess.
I got to find out what else she's in, see if I've accidentally seen her. Because in other movies, sometimes in the movie, they'll
What's the
look
last
different.
movie you saw?
Oh, jeez, I don't know.
Okay.
Really?
The last movie I saw? Yeah, I have no idea. I've been watching shows. Like I'm watching Mobland right now, and I saw episode 7 last night.
Okay.
So I've watched those shows, but I don't watch like...
I had 2 different people text me, with your comment, is Zendaya a movie?
Could be, though. Sounds like it could be.
That's terrible. That is so bad.
From that to that one painter, First Coast Paint the Player. And this is a little hangover from yesterday. Caleb Ransaw. And this is from Daniel Griffiths. He wrote about him. It's been up on actionsportsjacks.com. And, hey, here's the deal about Ransaw. And I've had a couple people even say this while even out at minicamp. The tackling is huge, right? Tackle percentage is big on him. And you can see how athletic he is. They think his move to the safety spot will be big, but they love the idea that this guy can be a sure tackler in the back end and not give that up. As Gladstone says, the root word of safety is safe. Versatility, speed, physicality, and Daniel Griffiths writes all about him. This is an interesting player in this draft. A little bit overlooked, I think, at times by Tootin and Milum. And obviously you got the Travis Hunter stuff. And you're like, oh, yeah, also they picked this guy before Milum and Tootin. So they really like Caleb Ransaw. I think what's interesting to watch is how quick he can get in the fray. How quick he can adapt to that safety spot full time. And my guess is he'll also give you pretty good on special teams as well. So a lot of versatility here in the Caleb Ransaw selection in the 3rd round of the draft. Go check it out, actionsportsjacks.com. That is thatonepainter.com. paint.first-coast as well. That one painter, First Coast. Paint the player. I want to look up all Zendaya movies and shows next. Back at it tomorrow. Nice job, Judge.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jax are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajax.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajax.org. Don't wait, apply today.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jax 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 143.